soft breath slower than before. And somewhere beneath the quiet hum of your day, a gentle river begins to appear. Not outside of you, but within. Close your eyes and step into the waters of your inner world. Let the world drift. Let the thoughts soften. Let the oars fall from your hands. You do not need to paddle tonight. You do not need to know where the river bends. This journey will carry you. Just breathe. Feel the gentle pull of the current. It doesn't rush. It doesn't crash. It simply moves with quiet knowing. This river your life knows exactly where to go. It does not need to be controlled. It flows whether you force it or not. And tonight, you choose not to. You are no longer a fighter in the current. You are a floater, a dreamer. A soft leaf drifting on time. You release the oars. You've held them so tightly, haven't you? Your hands always gripping, trying to steer, to predict, to plan, to protect. But those hands are tired now. And so, they let go. Feel that. Feel your fingers uncurl. Feel the muscles in your chest loosen. Feel your mind sigh. You are no longer the boat's captain. You are the passenger. The water is the guide. The stars are the map. You are safe here. As you lie back in your boat of rest. The sky darkens into lavender. A full moon rises, reflecting off the water's calm face. And as it does, your worries float up with it. Soft bubbles rising, popping into mist. You watch them leave. The thought that says I should be doing more. Gone. The thought that asks, what if I never get there? Gone. The thought that whispers, I don't know how to fix it. Gone. You do not need to fix anything tonight because the current is already doing that for you. In the law of attraction, surrender is not weakness. It's power in soft disguise. It's the moment you stop resisting your own flow, because when you fight what is, you block what can be. Tonight, you let yourself be carried. You see when you surrender. You create space. Space for the universe to rearrange things. Space for better outcomes to appear. Space for miracles to float into view. You can't hold the oars and receive at the same time. So you trust that not knowing is part of knowing. You trust that detours are divine. You trust that flow is wiser than force. You remember, the river doesn't need your GPS. It was here long before your plans. And it always knows the way. You feel the water cradle your boat. You feel it rock you side to side, a lullaby of rhythm and relief. And now your heart begins to match it. Inhale, hold, exhale. You are floating. You are remembering how to be led. You are remembering how it felt before the tension, before the pressure to prove, before the weight of control. You are going back to your natural way, the way of ease, the way of breath, the way of flow. In this dreamy drift, you imagine your goals, not with urgency, but with openness. You picture your desires like stars above the water. You gaze at them without needing to reach, because you understand now. What you release returns in better form. You do not chase, you attract. And you attract by resting in alignment. You align tonight by trusting. You align tonight by letting go of the how, by letting go of the when, by letting go of the must. You stop demanding, you start receiving. This is not giving up. This is giving into something kinder than control. Surrender is not passive, it is deeply active. It is a quiet declaration. I believe in the current more than the chaos. You lie there and smile at that thought, because in surrender there is peace. You think back now, 2 times when you resisted, when you tried to swim against what was, when you forced, begged, planned, and it still fell apart. You realize now it wasn't falling apart. It was realigning, making space for something better. And you were learning to let go. Every failed plan was a lesson in release. Every closed door was a redirect. You weren't being punished. You were being protected. You see it now how life loves you quietly. And as you float, the waters shimmer with this love. You are no longer afraid to let go, because you felt what holding on too tightly can do. It bruises your palms. It blocks your blessings. It turns the journey into a struggle. So tonight, no more struggling. Just being, just drifting, just soft trust. There's magic in drifting. In this place of surrender, your mind slows. The loops stop. The future rests. The past fades. All that remains is now. And now is enough. You whisper to yourself, I don't need to figure it all out tonight. I don't need all the answers. I only need to float and breathe and trust. You exhale again. The boat drifts. The stars gleam. The universe smiles. Even in your stillness, things are moving. Even in your sleep, creation continues. Even in your surrender, The current works on your behalf because you are not alone in this journey. You are partnered with something infinite, something intelligent, something loving. You feel it, a presence guiding the water. It nudges your boat gently left, gently right, always forward. You do not see the whole map, but you feel the pull of destiny, quiet and certain. You rest your head against the side of your boat. You let the wind kiss your cheek. You close your eyes within this dream. You dream of floating through your life with less tension. You dream of waking up already aligned. You dream of softness in your speech and gentleness in your expectations. You dream of a world where surrender is celebrated, where slowing down is sacred, where trust is the true ambition. And as you drift deeper, you begin to believe that world is already here, inside you. Inside this very moment. No storm can shake you here. No worry can anchor you, because you are floating. And the universe is steering. You smile, you sigh, you release one more invisible oar. Even in sleep, you are moving. Even in silence, you are becoming. Your boat continues, through moonlight, through mist, towards something better than you imagined. And as your breath deepens, you begin to wonder what waits around the next bend, what the water might whisper next, what the stars are guiding you toward. Perhaps, in the space between thoughts, you'll find the answer. There is a place quieter than silence, softer than dreams, still enough to feel the breath of the universe itself. You are drifting toward it now. You've left the noise of the day behind, the expectations, the mental list, the looping questions. They float far behind your boat, like leaves on a stream, dissolving into the distance. Now only this moment remains. And in this moment, something begins to bloom, a calm you've long forgotten. But your soul still remembers. It lives in the space between thoughts. Not the thoughts themselves, but the soft pause just after one ends and before the next begins. Can you feel it? That sliver of stillness, that is where your power lives. That is where the law of attraction becomes most alive, not in mental effort, but in quiet alignment. Tonight, you are learning to live there. In the pause, in the space, in the sacred emptiness. There's nothing you must do, only notice. The gap between your inhale and your exhale, the moment where nothing exists, and yet everything aligns. You breathe in gently, and before you breathe out, there it is. That space, that stillness, that is where the universe whispers. It doesn't shout through your busy mind. It doesn't compete with your to-do list. It waits patiently for the silence, because in that silence you become receptive. In the space between thoughts, you are not trying to manifest. You are being the frequency. You are no longer thinking about what you want. You are matching it, and matching requires stillness. You are not a magnet when you're stressed. You are not magnetic when you're chasing. But when you are quiet, when you are soft, when your mind slows and opens like a night blooming flower, then you attract. It's not in the noise. It's not in the fixing. It's in the quiet click of inner peace right here, right now. And so, you let your thoughts soften. They don't disappear. They just become slower, gentler, like clouds. Drifting, you let them pass by without grabbing hold. I should be doing more. Floats by. I wonder if they still think about me. Drifts past. What if it never works out? Melts into mist. You do not hold the thoughts. You do not fight them. You simply return to the space between them. That's where the peace is. That's where alignment hums. And that is where you are learning to live tonight. You picture your mind now, not as a place of noise, but as a wide open sky. Each thought a bird flying past. You are the sky, not the bird. You are not your fears. You are not your doubts. You are not even your desires. You are the space that holds them all. And in that space, you are safe. You are whole. You are already enough. The law of attraction responds to your vibration, not your effort, not your planning, not your striving. It responds to the stillness behind the wanting, the calm that says, I am already okay, even as I become more. That's the energy you're resting in now. You are not trying to attract. You are becoming the kind of presence that attracts effortlessly, because you are no longer chasing the thing. You are becoming the space it enters. You imagine now your desires not as things to grasp, but as soft lights floating toward you, drawn in by your peace, by your clarity, by your quiet trust. And you sit in stillness, arms open, doing nothing but being, because being is enough. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you're meant to be. That belief, that knowing, is a vibration, and that vibration speaks louder than 1,000 words. So you let it vibrate now, subtly, quietly, a hum behind your heartbeat. Your heartbeat. You feel it in your chest, a golden pulse that says, I am in sync. And the universe echoes back, yes, yes, you are. You smile at that, you breathe again. And in that soft exhale, you feel the power of non-resistance. You do not need to push, you do not need to prove, you do not need to explain. You only need to rest in who you truly are, and that is magnetic. You think of a flower. It does not chase bees, it simply opens, and its fragrance draws what is meant for it. You are that flower tonight. You are the open field. You are the quiet signal. You are the calm, and the universe is listening. Even in this stillness, especially in this stillness, you are co-creating. You are becoming a vibrational match to ease, to love, to abundance, to everything you've whispered into the stars. And how? Not through thought, not through force, but through the space between thoughts. That space is holy, that space is sacred, that space is home. So now, as you float further into rest, you choose not to fill the silence. You choose not to analyze or ask. You choose instead to let the silence fill you, to let the quiet become your compass, to let the space between thoughts become your teacher. In that sacred space, you are met by the frequency of what you've asked for, met by a version of you that's already there, met by ease. This is where the magic lives. It doesn't live in loud affirmations shouted in desperation. It doesn't live in high energy hustle. It lives here, in this hush, in this glow, in this soft yes. You feel yourself settling even deeper. Each muscle melts, each breath slows. You are no longer reaching, you are receiving. Receiving subtle nudges, whispers, a calm knowing that all is unfolding. That your work is to stay in tune, to stay open, to stay in the space between, where intuition lives, where synchronicity blooms, where divine timing breathes. You are not creating from the mind, you are creating from alignment. And alignment doesn't speak in urgency, it speaks in silence. And in that silence, you begin to hear your true self, the version of you that already lives the dream, the version of you that trusts, the version of you that floats. She smiles, he glows. They whisper, keep breathing, keep being, keep listening to the space, and so you do. You feel the world softening around you. Even your bed becomes a river, the blanket, the current. The ceiling, the sky, everything is flow, everything is stillness, everything is perfect in this now. As the final thoughts of the day fade, you do not reach for more. You stay in this space between needing and having, between doing and resting, between asking and receiving. Because here, right here, is where your vibration is purest. And the universe responds to purity. You drift now, not to sleep, but to alignment. And in that alignment, you are changed gently, softly, forever. And somewhere in the quietest part of you, a question begins to form, not from fear, but from wonder. If I can be this calm here, what else can I allow? And what more can I welcome? In the quiet, in the pause, in the breathless beauty of surrender. You have floated so far now, down the river of trust, through the space between thoughts, into a quiet place where your soul finally exhales. And here, in this final stretch of surrender, you no longer ask, am I doing it right? You no longer wonder, is it working? Because something deeper has arrived, a knowing, a peace, melody you no longer need to control. Tonight, you are learning to let the universe finish the song. You've been composing for so long, trying to arrange every note, editing every line of your life's music, correcting timing, questioning harmony. But now, you rest the pen, you close the music sheet. You let the orchestra play without your hand. You trust the melody is already perfect. Even if you don't yet hear how it resolves. Your job is not to finish every note. Your job is to feel the rhythm, to dance in the pauses, to hum along when you remember the tune. And then to let go. Let go of controlling the outcome. Let go of needing the next chapter to look a certain way. Let go of trying to predict what the final chorus will sound like. Because when you let go, you allow the song to become more beautiful than you imagine. You see, the universe is the composer. It hears harmonies beyond your awareness. It weaves instruments you didn't know existed. It plays chords using stars, synchronicity, and the unseen kindness of time. In you, you are the listener now. You rest in the vibration. You receive the resonance. You become the sound itself. That is the final step of surrender. To become the music, not the maker. And so, you breathe. You lie softer. You feel the gentle hum of everything aligning for you. Even the things that once confused you, the delays, the losses, the unexpected detours, they begin to shimmer with unseen purpose because you realize the universe was never off key. It was only playing a part you hadn't reached yet. Just like a soft note held in the background, waiting for the right moment to rise tonight. It rises not with drama, but with grace, not with thunder, but with truth, because you surrendered, and in surrender, you tuned in. This is where manifestation becomes effortless, where desires no longer need to be forced into form, they are sung into your life. You attract by relaxing, you receive by resting, you magnetize by surrendering your agenda to something higher. You no longer beg life to obey your tempo, you sync with its pulse. It's always been there, the steady beat beneath your worry, the melody beneath your doubt, the love beneath your planning. You are no longer the fixer, you are the feeler. You allow yourself to feel the vibration of already done. You don't rush it, you don't demand it. You close your eyes and listen, inhale, hold, exhale. The song continues, and you trust it's reaching the right crescendo. You see, the law of attraction doesn't only respond to what you think, it responds to what you feel. And the highest vibration is peace, not excitement, not control, not pressure. Peace. Because peace says, I believe it's already mine. So you stop trying to prove you're worthy. You stop trying to earn it. You let go of the struggle. And in doing so, you rise higher and lighter, like a note carried on wind. You are no longer doubting the process. You are becoming the process. You are no longer asking, when will it arrive? You are softly saying, I trust what's coming will sound better than what I imagine. And that trust, that quiet, unconditional trust is what allows the song to finish. It's the final line of the chorus you've waited for, but not in the way you thought, because the ending isn't loud. It isn't filled with fireworks or fast answers. It's subtle. It's a soft shift in your soul. It's the moment when you finally stop needing to know how it ends, because you've fallen in love with being here. This moment, this breath, this rest. You smile in your sleep, because something inside you knows you're being rewritten, not by effort, by allowing. You've let the music carry you. You've stopped rewriting the melody. Now, miracles echoing. You don't chase them, they find you, because your energy has changed. You're not sending out static anymore. You're broadcasting stillness. Stillness is the clearest signal. Stillness is the sweetest note. You are that note tonight. You're not missing anything. You're not behind. You're right on time with the rhythm of your life, and the orchestra is swelling now. The universe is layering in harmonies. Things are aligning behind the veil. What you've asked for is already moving, already tuning itself to your new frequency. And all you have to do is keep listening, keep breathing, keep floating. The song will finish itself, not through force, but through faith. Not with resistance, but with reverence. So you release it again, whatever it is. The wish, the timeline, the outcome, you hand it to the stars. You give it back to the water. And you say softly, you finish it. You lie there, still, held by moonlight and memory. Your body becomes air. Your thoughts become wind. Your presence becomes music. Even your heartbeat slows to match the rhythm of surrender. It's no longer about getting somewhere. It's about becoming someone who trusts life again, someone who rests, someone who lets go and watches the magic arrive. You've done enough. You've asked enough. You've aligned enough. Now, just let it be. Let the universe carry the final note. Let the song end softly, sweetly, perfectly timed, because it will. It always does. The story will write its last sentence. The lover will arrive in rhythm. The dream will land like a quiet blessing, all without your grip. All because you floated, you paused, you let go. And now, you let the universe finish the song. You drift now, not into effort, but into harmony. A harmony where trust plays the melody, and peace sings the final verse. You don't need to hear the end to know it's beautiful. You don't need to control the next page to feel safe. You've done something sacred tonight. You've surrendered. And in doing so, you've allowed the final magic to begin. And now, as your breath softens, as the current slows, you wonder quietly, almost like a prayer, if this song is finishing now, what new song is waiting to begin? You are entering a garden now, not with flowers already blooming, but with quiet soil, soft shadows, and the scent of memory. This is not a perfect place, it is a sacred one. This is the garden of broken things, and you are barefoot with every step. Your feet press into earth shaped by the past moments you hid. Words that bruised, silences that carved through your heart like winter wind. But here, in this garden, you do not flinch from them. Flinch from them. You walk gently, not to avoid the brokenness, but to tend to it. Because every broken heart is a seed, and every wound is a place where light can enter. You pause now, at the first seedling dot. It looks like pain, but you kneel beside it, and you notice it's growing. You water it with something new, not shame, not blame, but compassion. Kind of compassion that says you did the best you could with what you knew. Kind of forgiveness that begins not with others, but with yourself. Let that settle into your breath. Inhale softly. Hold. Exhale longer. Let the roots of your story find the sun. You do not need to edit the past tonight. You do not need to rewrite what happened. You only need to walk among it and bring warmth. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is remembering. With softer eyes, you are walking through that remembering now. There to your right, a moment you've tucked away for years. You approach it slowly. It looks like an old door, weathered with time. You reach out, touch the surface, and the door opens not to pain, but to presence. You see your younger self there. Eyes wide, shoulders small, heart too big for their own good. And they're still waiting, not for someone else to say sorry, but for you to say, I see you. I'm here now, and we made it through. You kneel, you embrace them. No words are needed, only feeling. This is forgiveness in its purest form, returning to the place where you left yourself behind, and bringing you back home. You breathe again, you continue walking. The next plant you pass is thorny, sharp. It was planted by someone else's words, maybe a betrayal or a love that didn't stay. You wince. You remember but then you notice something between the thorns. There are petals tiny, velvet soft signs that even pain can flower. You bend down and say gently, I no longer need to carry the weight of their actions. And the petals open. Forgiveness does not say, it was okay. It says, I choose not to let it hurt me anymore. You do not release them from responsibility. You release yourself from the burden of replaying it, the burden of needing closure, the burden of waiting for an apology. Because tonight you become the closure. You become the softness. You become the healing. Even if they never said sorry, you say it to the part of you that stayed stuck. You whisper, I'm sorry you carried this alone. I forgive you for not knowing how to let go. I'm proud of you for surviving. You keep walking. Each step, a release. Each breath, a letting go. You reach a clearing now. The moonlight spills over this space. Here in the center of your garden is a reflection pool. You kneel beside it, look down. You see your face, older, wiser, kinder. You see the years you held your pain like a stone in the moment you chose to set it down. That moment could be now. So you pick up a small rock near the edge. You whisper into it every grudge you're tired of holding. The friend who vanished, the parent who couldn't see you, the lover who didn't stay, the person you became in the aftermath. And you say, you do not belong in my body anymore. Then you drop the stone into the water. Plunk. The ripples move out wide and slow. Your breath follows them, expanding, softening. You're not erasing your past. You are transforming it. This is the secret of forgiveness. You do not wait to be healed to forgive. You forgive so you can heal. Because the law of attraction responds not to what happened, but to the vibration you carry now. And carrying resentment vibrates differently than carrying grace. So tonight you choose grace even if your hands tremble, even if your voice cracks, even if the pain is still there whispering. You choose grace again and again and again. Forgiveness is not a moment, it is a practice, a frequency. You begin tuning into it now. Feel your body lighten. Your shoulders soften, your jaw releases, your chest opens just a little more. You're becoming lighter by the moment. You look up again. And suddenly, the garden doesn't seem so broken anymore. It's still made of old things. But they've been tended, watered, held. And in being held, they've begun to bloom. You see sprouts where grief once rooted. You see blossoms where anger once lived. You see yourself not wounded, but wise. And that wisdom says, I can love even what hurt me. I can grow even from pain. I can begin again even here. That is the frequency of forgiveness. It's not loud, it's not urgent. It's a hum, a warmth, a gentle shift in vibration. And as you rest here now, you tune your entire being to that frequency. Inhale, hold, exhale. Let it settle in your bones. Let it whisper into your cells. I am allowed to move on. I I am safe to feel free. The more you forgive, the more you allow. Because old resentments block new blessings. Bitterness clogs your receiving channels. Grudges tangle the path forward. But you are untangling it now, thread by thread. You are untying the knot of pain with hands made of softness. And as you do, the path ahead becomes clearer. You see a gate at the edge of your garden now. It wasn't there before. It has no lock, no handle, just space. Space to step through. When you're ready, you walk toward it, slowly, not with urgency, but with reverence. You turn back one last time. Look at your garden, your broken things, your beautiful broken things, and you smile. Because what was once your shame has become your sanctuary. What once made you hide now helps you grow. And as you cross through the gate, you take nothing with you but light, not the stories, not the sting, only the softness you earned. You walk now into a new space. Place where love feels safe again. A place where your past no longer leads your future. Place where peace begins to bloom. And in your heart a single, soft sentence begins to rise like the scent of jasmine at night. If this is how it feels to forgive myself, how might it feel to forgive them? The night is deeper now. Your breath quieter. The garden of broken things rests behind you, not forgotten, but softened. You've walked through your own memory with barefoot grace, and now you arrive at a quieter place still, a room made of moonlight and silence. The walls are not made of stone, but of old words never spoken, tears never shed, truths never fully lived. This is the room of letters never sent, and tonight, you've come to write them. You enter. A desk waits for you in the center, not imposing, not grand, just there. It holds a single sheet of paper, a feather light, pen, and all the space you need to fill. This is not for the world to see, not for them to reply, not for closure that depends on someone else. This is for you. Forgiveness begins here with the truths you were too hurt, too angry, too kind, too scared, too tired to say. Now you say them, not out loud, but through the slow ink of your own healing. The first letter is to the person who didn't know how to love you. You sit and you begin. You couldn't give me what I needed. I thought that meant I wasn't worthy of it, but I see now you were carrying your own pain. And I forgive you, not to let you off the hook, but to let myself off the leash. The pen glides. Each word is a release. You do not censor. You do not edit. You write what your soul has carried too long. You should have protected me. You should have seen me, but even when you didn't, I survived. And that is enough. You pause. A breath, a softness, a tear you didn't know was waiting. It falls gently on the page, and you let it. Because tears are ink to dot. Tears speak the language of surrender, of honesty, of restoration. You are not trying to erase the pain. You are creating space around it, so it no longer controls the shape of your life. This is how forgiveness begins, by giving your feelings somewhere to rest. Even if it's only a page. You begin the next letter. This one is to the version of you that stayed silent, that held it in, that shrunk to be loved, that tolerated too much for too long. Dear me, I know why you stayed. I know why you smiled when you wanted to scream. I know why you chose peace over truth. But now, I choose both. And I thank you for keeping me alive even when it broke your heart. You write slow, but steady. You feel the lines of shame loosen, the guilt dissolve into softness. This is not blame. This is release. You are letting your former self be human, and that too is forgiveness. The room shifts slightly. You feel a warmth behind you, not from someone, but from something. Compassion. It fills the space like candlelight. You are not judged here. You are not measured. You are simply heard. And so, you write again, another letter. This time to someone who never said sorry. I waited, and maybe you never will. But I refuse to make my healing dependent on your confession. I release the contract of pain between us. You can keep your silence. I will keep my peace. The words land like feathers, but inside they roar with truth. You do not write these letters to reopen wounds. You write them to stop carrying them. They've lived long enough in your chest. They've echoed in your mind too many nights. Tonight, they move to the page. And in doing so, they lose their sharpness. You become lighter. You begin to fill space where tightness used to live. That is forgiveness. Creating room for peace to come in, even when apology never does. You breathe in. You notice now. You've written many letters, some to them, some to you, some to the universe itself. I don't understand why it happened this way, but I trust there's meaning in the mess. Even if I don't see it yet, even if it never makes sense, I forgive. The story I thought I needed, you stop. The room is silent, but not empty. It is filled with your truth, your ache, your quiet courage. Quiet courage. And now, you must decide, do you keep the letters or do you release them? There is a fire in the corner of the room, gentle, golden, not here to burn, but to bless. You rise from the desk. One by one, you take the letters folded like memories and place them in the flame. They do not scream, they glow, they do not vanish, they transform. Because forgiveness is not erasure, it is alchemy. You watch the paper become light, ash freedom. The smoke swirls like incense, and in it you feel a shift in your body, not dramatic, not loud, but real. Lighter lungs, softer spine, heart open. You realize you were never waiting for them to change. You were waiting for you to choose peace, and you just did. The flame fades. The room cools. You sit again, not to write, but to rest. You place your hands over your heart. You feel it beating, uninterrupted. Unimpressed by pain, loyal, you whisper, I forgive myself for carrying what was never mine. I forgive them for not being who I needed. And I forgive the past for not knowing how to be softer. This is the melody now. Forgiveness as a lullaby, a vibration humming through your bones. You are not broken. You are breaking open, and every crack is a new door for light to find you. You breathe again. The room begins to dissolve. The desk, the pen, the fire, all fade into mist. Only your breath remains. Only your heart. Only the feeling of release. And from that silence, one last thought rises, as gentle as a candle flicker. If these letters freed me, what else might happen when I finally forgive? The one I never thought I could. It's almost morning, but the night still holds you, cradles you, wraps you in the hush of something newly softened. You've walked through your past. You've spoken the words you never got to say. You've placed your pain in the fire and watched it rise in smoke and light. Now, you return to yourself, not as the person who carried it all, but as the one who has begun to let it go. This chapter is not about the wound. It is about what grows after. This is where your heart gets washed clean. You find yourself in a quiet meadow now, barefoot, safe, light as a dandelion seed floating on breeze. All around you, morning dew clings to grass tips, and the sky above is beginning to blush with dawn. There is no noise, only a distant stream, only the sound of breath and bird song, only your soul returning home. You walk toward the water. Not a river this time, but a still, clear lake, surface like glass, depths like truth. This lake holds what you are ready to release, not to forget, but to cleanse. Forgiveness now is no longer a mental idea. It becomes a ritual, a returning, a letting. You kneel by the edge. You place your hands in the water. It is cool. It is living. It welcomes you like it's been waiting. The first thing you offer is your guilt, that quiet, heavy fog that's followed you for years, for what you said, for what you didn't say, for what you couldn't do or couldn't undo. You gather it gently, the way you'd gather fallen feathers from a wounded bird. You do not shame yourself. You say you were surviving. That's all you knew, and now you know better, and that is enough. Then slowly, you submerge your hands, letting the guilt dissolve into the lake. You feel it lift from your body, from your chest, from your memory. You are not that moment anymore. You are not frozen in that version of yourself. You have changed, and in recognizing that, you invite the lake to change you. Next, you offer your anger. Not the sharp kind, but the low, burning ember that flared when they didn't understand you, when they hurt you, when they never came back. You gather it, not like fire, but like coal from your ribs. You whisper, you protected me. You helped me survive. But now I don't need armor. Now I need peace, and you place it in the water. Watch the ripples absorb it. Watch it soften into warmth. You feel the tension in your shoulders release. Anger was weight, and you've set it down. Now you can walk lighter, love easier, sleep deeper. You breathe again. The lake is still here, still listening, still receiving. Now you offer what may be the hardest, the betrayal, the abandonment, the memories that still ache in corners you don't visit often. They rise slowly, not to haunt but to be seen. And you do not run. You meet them, one by one. That moment you were left, that call that never came, that trust that was broken. You place each one on a leaf, and you set them afloat across the lake. You do not drown them. You do not bury them. You let the water carry them as if to say, I cannot carry this anymore. But I no longer need it to disappear, only to transform. And slowly, each memory becomes a shimmer, each wound becomes a wave, each ache becomes light. Because this is what forgiveness does. It does not erase. It blesses that, it anoints the scar and says, you are healed. Not because it never hurt, but because it no longer defines you. You are that healed version now. You sit by the lake, eyes closed. You feel your heart, not racing, not guarding, just present. You press your hand to your chest, and you say gently, I forgive you for not knowing how to love me. I forgive you for the silence that broke me. I forgive you for being human. Then softer, and I forgive myself for needing you to be more than you could be. I forgive myself for staying too long, for leaving too soon, for believing pain was proof of love. The lake listens, the trees listen, your soul listens, and then something miraculous happens. You feel space, not a void, but possibility. Blank canvas inside your chest where grief once painted its colors, now. There is room for joy, for softness, for love that does not ask you to shrink. You have made space, and into that space a new kind of feeling arrives. Not hope, not happiness, something deeper. Wholeness, the realization that nothing was missing, only waiting to be made whole. You are not defined by what was taken. You are revealed by what remains, and what remains is beautiful. You feel it now, a heart washed clean. Not because the pain is gone, but because it's no longer the loudest voice. Love has taken its place, and with that love, you rise, you step into the lake now, knee deep, then waist deep, then shoulder deep. You do not flinch, the water welcomes every part of you, the past, the present, the possibility. You float, eyes closed, body weightless, held by the element that purifies. And here, you are reborn, not as someone new, but as someone remembered. You float, and let the lake hold you. You whisper, I am no longer angry. I am no longer broken. I am no longer waiting for them to make it right. And the water whispers back, you are whole. You are light. You are free. And maybe that's what forgiveness really is. Not a word, not a concept, but a vibration, a soft echo in the chest that says, you no longer owe me anything, not even pain. You feel it now, the last traces of weight. Gone, you step out of the water. The sunrise glows in the sky. And the world feels different, not because it changed, but because you did. You've created space, and in that space, love will land, peace will grow, joy will return without effort. You walk forward, not to fix anything, but to live freely, with a heart that no longer holds resentment, only light. You breathe again, clean, clear, hold, and as the first sun ray touches your face, you ask softly if this is how it feels to forgive. What else might I be ready to welcome in? Tonight, the air is still, the stars are humming, and you are coming home, not to a place, but to a version of you the mirror has been waiting to reflect. This is not a journey to find love. It is a return to the place where love already lives, inside you. The night wraps around you like velvet. You are safe here. You are held. And slowly you close your eyes to meet the version of you that remembers. The one who does not beg for love. The one who does not shrink for it. The one who has always been enough. You step into a soft-lit room. At the center, a mirror. But it's not made of glass. It's made of memory, of light, of truth. This mirror does not show the surface. It shows the soul. You walk toward it slowly. Your breath becomes slower. Your heart quieter. And the image begins to appear. It's you, but not the version tired from trying. Not the one shaped by rejection. Not the one who questioned your worth. It's you, before the world asked you to forget. You look into their eyes clear, still, hold, and suddenly you remember. Love isn't something you find. It's something you radiate, like heat from fire, like light from dawn, like peace from presence. You were never without love. You were only disconnected from your own reflection. You sit now, right in front of the mirror, hands in your lap, heart open, and the version of you in the mirror smiles. They are not waiting for someone to complete them. They are not wishing for someone to rescue them. They are simply being whole, present, magnetic. You begin to breathe in that energy, not trying to become it, but allowing it to surface because it's always been there. You say softly, I am not half, I am not missing, I am not less because I am alone. You repeat it gently until your cells begin to believe, because when you Remember your wholeness. You become irresistible, not because you are flawless, but because you are free. And freedom is magnetic. You look again into the mirror, and now you see yourself through the eyes of love, not the eyes of someone else, but your own. You see softness, you see strength, you see the quiet ache that made you compassionate. You see the cracks that let light spill through, and you do not flinch. You do not turn away. You whisper, you are lovable because you exist. Let that settle. Let that settle. You do not need to perform for affection. You do not need to chase approval. You do not need to lose yourself to be chosen. You are already chosen by the universe, by the breath that moves through you, by the mirror that remembers who you truly are. You close your eyes now, and you begin to imagine love not as a person, but as a feeling, warm, consistent, unconditional. It rises from within you like a golden current, starting in your belly, moving to your chest, glowing in your throat, radiating from your face. It is not desire, it is not hunger, it is not lack. It is overflow. You are not a bucket with a hole, you are a river. And the more you let love flow through you, the more the world reflects it back. You whisper, I am love. I don't need to be filled. I need only to remember my source. You begin to feel it now. Love in your breath, love in your silence, love in the space between your thoughts. It doesn't come from someone else, it comes from your own alignment, because in the law of attraction, you do not get what you want. You get what you are. And tonight, you are wholeness remembering itself. You do not ask, where are they? You ask, am I ready to receive what matches this version of me? And the answer is yes. You are ready for love that honors your softness. You are ready for love that does not confuse you. You are ready for love that reflects, not fills. The mirror nods. You are no longer trying to find someone to rescue you. You are inviting someone to meet you. You do not chase love anymore. You sit in your frequency and let it find its way to you. You breathe again. The room glows. The mirror begins to fade. Not because it disappears, but because you no longer need it to see yourself clearly. You rise. You step outside into a field of night-blooming flowers. Each one opens as you walk past. Draw not to your effort, but to your energy. This is how love will arrive, not with noise, not with performance, but with peace. Because you are not seeking someone to make you feel whole, you are whole. And that truth is calling in a love that knows how to stay. You look up. The sky is filled with stars, each one a version of love you once gave away too freely. But tonight, they return to you, not as wounds, but as wisdom. You smile. You whisper to the sky, I no longer need to be loved to feel love. I am love, and whoever finds me now will be meeting me in my fullness. And somewhere, someone is softening too. Someone is aligning. Someone is being prepared to meet the version of you who no longer waits, but glows. As your body sinks deeper into sleep, you don't dream of being chosen. You dream of being met. Being seen, not because you reached, but because you remembered. And you wonder now, if the mirror reflected my wholeness tonight, what version of love will reflect that back tomorrow? The night deepens, and so do you. You are no longer floating on the surface of longing. You are sinking softly into alignment, not with another person, but with the version of you that love is drawn to without resistance. This is not a chapter about finding the one. It's about becoming the vibration that attracts the one who's already looking for you tonight. You tune yourself to the frequency of sacred union, not desperate, not rushed, not forced, but divine, aligned, inevitable. Your breath slows. You lie still beneath the canopy of your subconscious, where stories melt and energy speaks louder than thoughts. And here, in this quiet center, you begin to feel what sacred love truly is. It does not demand, it does not chase, it does not shrink. It honors, it sees, it holds. Not like a cage, but like a rhythm, to beings, to energies, meeting not to fix, but to amplify. You see yourself now, not alone, but whole, standing in a glowing circle of light. Hands at your sides, heart exposed. And across from you, another light begins to rise. Not a fantasy, not a projection, but a mirror, an equal, a match. This is not the version of love you've known. This love does not arrive to heal your wounds. It arrives because you have already begun to heal. This is the difference between needing and attracting. Between grasping and receiving. You breathe into that difference. Inhale, hold, exhale. You are not reaching for love tonight. You are becoming it. Because sacred union cannot begin with emptiness. It begins with overflow. The two beings who are full already coming together not to take, but to give and receive. In rhythm, you feel that rhythm now, like a pulse beneath your skin, a frequency your body remembers. Even when your mind forgets, you whisper softly, I am a match to the love I seek. I embody the energy of what I desire. As those words vibrate through your being, you notice the circle of light around you expand. It ripples outward into time, into space, into the hearts of others who are also softening, also calling in their match, because sacred union begins long before you meet. It begins in alignment. It begins in frequency. You place your hand on your heart. You ask gently, what does love feel like when it's not trying to prove itself? And your heart answers, safe, seen, steady. You don't want the rush anymore. You want the resonance, and you're ready to wait for it, not from lack, but from clarity. You are no longer available for half-love, for connection based on fear, for passion that burns hot and then vanishes. You want the kind of love that grows, that roots, that stays, because you are the kind of person who stays with yourself now. That's what sacred union is. It starts within. The more loyal you are to your own truth, the more magnetic you become to someone who honors that same truth that you feel. It in your spine, a quiet strength. You no longer bend to be chosen, you rise, and in that rising, you become visible to the one who's been rising too. You close your eyes now, and in your mind's eye, you walk into a temple, not made of stone, but of energy. This is the temple of sacred union. And tonight, you meet your match, not in the flesh, but in the field, the energetic field where intention meets vibration. You step forward, and before you appears a being. No name, no face, just light, presence, familiarity. They feel like home because they are home to the version of you that no longer hides. They walk toward you slowly. You do not flinch. You do not question. You simply open your arms, and they do. No words are exchanged, no vows spoken, no promises needed, because in this frequency, the energy says everything. You are met fully, clearly, without distortion, and the feeling that moves through you now is not fireworks. It is not a rush. It is peace. It is knowing. It is alignment. It is recognition. You whisper, you found me because I stopped pretending. They whisper back, and I found you because I finally became who I was meant to be. You rest your forehead against theirs, your breath sinks, your heart quiets, and the two frequencies become one. Not by force, but by resonance. And you understand now, you don't attract sacred union by asking for love. You attract it by becoming someone who is love, someone who speaks kindly to themselves, someone who honors their boundaries, someone who doesn't beg for affection but embodies it. That's who you are now. That's who you've always been beneath the noise. And that's who this union is responding to. The temple begins to dissolve. Not because it's gone, but because its energy now lives in you. You carry it in your breath, in your voice, in the way you treat yourself. You are the temple. And sacred love is on its way to meet you, not because you need it, but because you are ready to share what you become. You step outside, back into the night. The stars wink in rhythm with your pulse. And your last thought before you drift deeper into sleep is not about them. It's not even about love. It's this. If I can feel this whole now, what kind of love will I create when I finally meet its match? There is a silence only love understands, the hush between longing and arrival, the stillness where sacred timing breathes. Tonight, you rest in that silence, not as someone waiting to be chosen, but as someone already chosen by the energy that shapes stars, moves oceans, and brings hearts together with no map. You are not chasing love. You are listening for its quiet footsteps, because true love knocks softly, not with noise, not with drama, but with a vibration that matches your calm. And now, your vibration is ready. You are no longer magnetizing from hunger. You are attracting from wholeness, overflowing, open. You lie still beneath the sky of your becoming, and you smile, because you can feel it, a new chapter approaching, not hurried, not loud, but inevitable. You breathe in deeply, inhale the knowing, exhale the doubt, and the air around you shimmers with readiness. You are no longer trying to manifest love. You are living as the version of you who has love, and from that place, love finds its way easily, softly, surely. You imagine now a door in your heart. It's not locked, it's not guarded. It's simply waiting. The wood warm with welcome. the handle worn with hope, the hinges still from years of protection. But tonight, the wind shifts, the energy stirs, and in the quiet of your soul's home, you hear it knock, knock. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's barely audible, but it's there. And you don't panic, you don't prepare, you don't perform, you breathe, because now, you know, what is meant for you will knock gently. It won't demand to be let in, will wait to be welcomed. You rise slowly, walk to the door of your heart, place your hand on the wood. It's warm. You whisper, I no longer open the door for chaos, I open only for peace. You turn the handle, and on the other side there is presence. Not perfection, not a savior, not a fantasy, but presence. Someone who sees you without needing to fix you. Someone who doesn't rush your softness, someone who carries their own wholeness and honors yours. They say nothing, but their energy says everything. I'm not here to complete you, I'm here to meet you, and that is enough. You step back, open the door wider, not because you are lonely, but because you are ready, not because you need, but because you have something to share. You've spent this journey returning to yourself, tending your energy, letting the wounds breathe, washing your heart clean, and now, there's space for someone to come in and sit, not rearrange your furniture, but admire the home you built within. You sit across from them now. No masks, no roles, no games, just truth. And the truth is this, you are loved. You are love. You always were. They feel that truth. They're not here to prove anything. They're here because they too tune to this frequency. And when two hearts vibrate at the same level, no words are needed, only presence, only yes. You hold out your hand, they take it, and the touch is not fireworks. It's recognition. It's breath meeting breath. It's I see you without saying it. And in that moment, you realize something important. The softest love is often the strongest. The kind that doesn't shout, doesn't chase, doesn't make promises it can't keep. It simply shows up every day with gentleness, with warmth, with truth. That's the kind of love you've been preparing for. And now it's here. Maybe not yet in the physical, but fully present in the energy. And in the law of attraction. That's where it always begins. You align, then it arrives. You don't force, you allow, you don't search, you glow. And your glow is a beacon. It calls in a love that recognizes your light. Not because you dimmed yourself, but because you finally let yourself shine. You look into their eyes now, and in them, you see not a future, but a mirror. Not someone who will rescue you, but someone who will walk beside you to paths one pace, no push. Only flow. You rest your head on their shoulder. Not to lean, but to be close, and you feel it in your chest, a peace you haven't known in years. Not because they filled you, but because you stopped emptying yourself for others. You are no longer a seeker of love. You are a sanctuary for it. And from that sanctuary you whisper, thank you for arriving softly, for meeting me where I already was, for not asking me to be anyone else. And they reply, not with words, but with presence. And in that presence, you remember the love you receive will always match the love you become. So become still, become soft, become true, and let love arrive in its perfect time with quiet feet and a voice that feels like home. You close your eyes, you exhale slowly, and in your sleep, the universe smiles because it knows you've surrendered the chase. You've tuned to the frequency. You've become the magnet. And now you're not wondering if love will come. You're wondering, how beautiful will it be when it finally does? You're not just falling asleep tonight. You're falling inward, beyond the noise, beyond the day, beyond the adult roles you carry so silently. Tonight, you return to the part of you that still believes in magic, even if it's been quiet for years. The child within you is still waiting, still watching, still whispering through your emotions, your longings, your dreams. And now you're ready to meet them. You take a breath, slow and soft, like a feather landing on warm skin, and you feel it, the faintest pull, inward. As if your heart is calling from behind a closed door. You follow it. Step by step, breath by breath, through a forest of memory, down a hallway of forgotten laughter, until you reach a tiny, glowing doorway. It's small, soft-lit, and warm like home. You kneel down, crawl through gently, and inside, you find it, the blanket fort in your heart. It's exactly as it once was, pillows piled high, cushions for walls, fairy lights glowing like stars, and in the center, curled up beneath a patchwork quilt of feelings, is you, a younger you, The version that still waits for safety, for softness, for someone to come back and stay. You do not rush, you do not fix, you simply sit beside them and you whisper, "Hi, sweetheart. I'm here now. You don't have to be alone anymore." The child doesn't flinch. They look up, eyes wide with recognition, as if they've been waiting years for this moment. And perhaps they have. You sit cross-legged now, letting the silence speak, letting the stillness become a lullaby. The child watches you, unsure at first, wounded, maybe, a curious dot, so you offer your hand. They reach for it slowly, small fingers slipping into yours like a soft yes. And that touch, something begins to soften inside you. You don't need to explain what happened. You don't need to unpack the years. You only need to be here, fully, lovingly, patiently, because healing isn't always about talking. Sometimes it's about showing up and staying. You tuck them gently into your side, wrap the quilt a little tighter, and whisper again, "I know it was scary. I know you were lonely. I know you waited for someone who didn't come. But I'm here now, and I'm not leaving." You feel the child exhale, a breath they've held for so long, a sigh that tastes like surrender. The lights around the fort flicker softly, not out of fear, but because the energy is changing. Your presence is changing them, and in turn, they begin to change you. You ask quietly, "What did you need back then that you never got?" And the child answers, maybe in words, maybe in tears, maybe in silence that says everything they needed to feel safe, to be held, to be told they didn't have to be perfect, to be allowed to be small without being invisible. You pull them closer. "I see you. You didn't imagine the pain. You weren't too sensitive. You were just unprotected. But that ends now." You wrap them in your arms, Dot, and this time they melt, Dot, because they believe you. Because the love you bring tonight is not a performance, it's a remembering. You remember how they used to giggle without guilt, how they used to cry without shame, how they used to love without fear, and you realize those parts of you still live. They were never erased, only hidden beneath survival. Dot, tonight you bring them back, not as weaknesses, but as treasures. You close your eyes and picture a golden light expanding inside the blanket fort. It's soft, it's warm, it touches everything with gentleness. Dot, the pillows, the toys, the forgotten drawings, the stuffed animal with the stitched up. Here, the light doesn't judge, it just loves. Dot, it loves everything it touches, exactly as it is. You breathe that light into your heart, and with every inhale, you give the child what they always needed: reassurance, comfort, unconditional presence. You say, you are allowed to feel everything. You are allowed to be messy. You are allowed to need love. And the child smiles for the first time in a long time, because they are finally safe to be real. You ask them now, "What do you want me to remember as I grow?" They think for a moment, then answer with softness, "Don't forget to play. Don't forget to laugh. Before the world says it's time to be serious. Don't forget that love is safe when it comes from within. And please, don't forget me again." You place a hand over your heart. "I promise I won't." You live here now, not in the past, but in this new story I'm writing. The child yawns. The fort grows warmer. The lights dim. They curl up beside you, Dot, and as they drift into sleep, you tuck the quilt around them. You whisper, "Rest now, little one. You've carried so much for so long. You don't have to protect me anymore. I'll protect you now." Their breathing deepens. Dot, you feel peace settle in the room. This is what healing looks like. Not fixing everything, but finally feeling it, and not running. You don't run tonight. You stay. You rest. And as your own breath matches theirs, you realize this was never just a visit. This was a reunion, a homecoming. As your body sinks into sleep, one last thought drifts through your chest like a lullaby. If I can return to the child in me, what else might return to life? The morning hasn't come yet, but something new is already beginning. It starts inside, where your heart once trembled, where your younger self curled up waiting, where now light is returning. Last night, you stepped into the blanket fort of your heart. You found the child you once were, and instead of ignoring their pain, you stayed. You saw them, held them, heard them. And now that child is ready to speak, Dot, not with fear, but with crayons, not through blame, but through play. Tonight, you give them the one thing they've always longed for: permission. Permission to feel, to cry, to ask, to be. You sit now in a new room. Sunlight hasn't reached it, but it glows softly as if the walls themselves are made of warmth. Dot, in the Center, a table, small, sturdy, covered in white paper that stretches like a blank sky. And on the table, box of crayons. Not perfect, some broken, some peeled, but vibrant, alive, ready. The child appears beside you, eyes brighter than before. They don't speak at first. They pick up a crayon, red, and begin to draw. You watch. At first, it's messy, a swirl of lines, a tangle of color, but look closer. It's a feeling, anger. It rushes across the page like a storm. You do not stop them. You do not shame the drawing. You let them rage with crayon and breath, because even rage is a language, and all it wants is to be heard. So you say, it's okay to be angry. You were never too much. You were just never allowed to say it. They keep drawing. Blue now, tears falling like raindrops across the page, loneliness wrapped in quiet lines, and you say, it's okay to cry. I will not turn away. Your sadness is sacred. This is sacred. They choose yellow next, soft spirals, tiny suns peeking from corners. Hope, memory, magic. It's all here, on paper, through crayons, in the small, shaking hands of your inner child. And now, they pause. They look at you, eyes wide, unblinking, as if asking, can I really show it all? You nod, open your arms. Yes, baby, all of it. Every emotion, every story, every scribble, draw it, speak it, let it come through. And so they do. With every stroke of color, they release what words could never carry. That moment they were told they were wrong. That day no one noticed they were hurting. That feeling of loving so much and not being loved back. It all spills out. Not into wounds, but into drawings. Because the page is safe. And in this safety, they begin to ask the questions they were too scared to voice before. Why didn't they come back? Was I not enough? Why did they yell so much? Why did they leave when I was crying? The questions sting. But you do not turn away. You answer the only way that heals, with honesty, with softness, with magic words. You hold their hand. You say, sweetheart, none of it was your fault. You were never the reason they broke. You were just a mirror they didn't know how to look into. They cry freely now, loudly. And you let them. Because these are healing tears. Each one, a memory unclenched, a burden laid down, belief rewritten. You whisper, you were never too needy. You were never too loud. You were a child, asking for love. And now they begin to believe you. Their breathing slows, their eyes soften. They reach for a new crayon. Green. And with it, they draw a heart, lopsided, open, full. This one is not broken, it's blooming. You smile. Because something inside them is changing, and something inside you is too. You're not just comforting the child. You're representing yourself. You're becoming the voice you always needed. Kind, protective, steady. You take a crayon to. You draw beside them. You do not try to fix their picture. You add to it. You create with them a house, a tree, a version of home that feels soft. They draw a version of you too, bigger, smiling, and suddenly you realize they trust you now. They believe you will not abandon them. They believe they don't have to be perfect to be loved. And this trust is everything. It is the foundation for a new self, because when the inner child feels safe, the adult begins to thrive. No more sabotage, no more self-doubt, no more chasing people who mirror old wounds. You don't need to repeat the story anymore. You've rewritten it with crayons, with tears, with magic words. You close your eyes. You hold the child again. This time, they rest in your lap. No tension, no fear, only peace. You rock them gently. You whisper, you can grow now, not because you must, but because you finally feel safe. And in your arms, the child begins to glow, a soft golden light, spreading from their chest into yours. It hums. It heals. It says, we are one now. No more separation. No more shame. No more silence. You breathe it in. This light, this unity, and as it fills you, you feel parts of yourself waking up. Parts you thought you lost. Joy, playfulness, curiosity, wonder. They return, not as memories, but as energy. Energy you now carry. Energy you now radiate. You are not just healed. You are whole. The child looks up at you. Smiles. And says, thank you for not rushing me. Thank you for staying. Can we keep playing tomorrow? You nod. Every night, every time you call, I'll be here. The room begins to dim, not with sadness, but with completion. The drawings remain on the table, a record of truth, a map back to feeling. You tuck the child into a soft bed, one that was never there before, but is now dot because now they know they are home with you dot always dot. You stroke their hair, you sing a lullaby, the one no one sang when you needed it, and as their breath deepens, your own body melts into stillness. You whisper the final magic words. You are loved, you are safe, you never have to pretend again, and somewhere in that quiet, you feel the tiniest voice inside you answer, then maybe I can grow into the person we were always meant to be. Tonight, the stars seem closer, not because they've moved, but because you have. Something inside you has softened, opened, trusted, and in that trust, the impossible begins to feel possible again. The child you once were, the one you met in the blanket fort, the one who cried in crayons, the one you held close as they trembled, is now resting peacefully within you. But tonight, something stirs not fear, not pain, but curiosity, wonder, a new kind of breath. Tonight, that child begins to believe again. You close your eyes, inhale, hold, exhale, and in your mind's eye, you return to that place, the heart fort, the crayon-colored world, the space where innocence never truly left. Only now, it's changed. The pillows are still soft, the lights still twinkle, but something is brighter. The air feels lighter because the child inside you is no longer waiting to be rescued. They are rising. You step into the room, and there they are, standing this time, not hiding, not folded in fear. They run to you, arms open, joyful, sure, and you catch them, lift them, spin, laugh. The laughter echoes not just in the room, but through every cell in your body, because healing doesn't always end in silence. Sometimes it ends in joy. They look up at you. Do you think it's safe to dream again? You kneel down, take both their hands. Yes, you whisper. In fact, I think it's time. And so begins the next step. Not just comfort, not just peace, but creation. Because when the inner child feels safe, they don't stay small. They imagine. They explore. They manifest, and so do you. You sit with them at a new table. This one is not for coloring feelings, but for building futures. Tiny stars hover above, like glittering ideas waiting to be picked. The child points to one. That one feels like joy. You reach for it together, hold it in your palms. It glows warmer. What would it look like to wake up smiling? What if we danced in the kitchen again? What if we said yes before logic said no? These are the dreams of your younger self, and they are valid, valued, ready. Because dreaming without fear is a form of power. You pick up another star. It pulses gently. What if love felt safe this time? The child nods. What if we didn't have to shrink to keep it? You hold that one close. Promise to keep it lit. You understand now. Your manifestations were never missing. They were waiting for you to become the version of yourself who believed she deserved them. And now, you are not perfect, but present, not unscarred, but unashamed. You've done the healing. And now you build from it. You and the child begin to design a life with more laughter, body treated gently, relationships that don't confuse love with pain. Each vision gets planted like seeds in the soil of your imagination, and the child giggles. It's working. It's really working. You smile. It always was, even when we couldn't see it. The universe was just waiting for us to say yes again. The child takes your hand now. Can we run? Just for fun, and you do. Out of the tent, through the middle of memory, into the fields of freedom. You run not to escape, but to celebrate. The past is no longer a chain. It's a teacher, and it taught you to return to your light. Your bare feet kiss the earth. Your lungs expand with wildness. Your heart beats not with fear, but with faith. Faith that things can be different. Faith that life will meet you where you've healed. Faith that the universe rewards those who reclaim their innocence. Because innocence is not naivete. It's clarity, it's receptivity, it's trust in what's good. And you trust again. You trust yourself, your feelings, your timing, your voice. You stop running, fall into soft grass. The child flops beside you. Both of you stare up at the stars, not to wish, but to think. We're different now, they say. You nod. We're whole now. And from that wholeness, you begin to attract things that feel like home. Not because you chase, but because you radiate. You are no longer looking for what you lacked. You are calling in what matches your new energy. The child stands up, turns to face you. I think I can. Grow now, for real this time. And they do, right before your eyes. They begin to stretch, not just in height, but in confidence. Their form changes, become stronger, calmer, more radiant until they become you. You are the child and the adult. You are the dreamer and the protector. You are the one who needed love and the one who gives it freely now. You rise, stand in this field of becoming. And you know, you are not rebuilding the old version of yourself. You are becoming someone entirely new. Someone with roots in innocence and wings in wisdom. Someone who doesn't fear the world, but meets it with softness. Someone who remembers you are not here to repeat. You are here to rewrite. And in the law of attraction, nothing is more magnetic than someone who carries their own light without apology. You begin to walk forward, toward the horizon, toward your new life. And with every step, the path appears. You don't need to know the whole way. You just need to believe in the next step. That is enough, because belief is the gateway. Belief is what turns a thought into form, a desire into reality, a wish into a world. And belief begins with healing, which you've done gently, patiently, bravely. You pause, place your hand on your heart. Feel the rhythm there. Not fast, not desperate, steady. Beat that says, I'm not afraid to begin again. I'm not afraid to shine. I am safe. I am home. I am ready. You look up. The sky answers with softness. The stars nod in quiet applause, and somewhere in the universe, a new story begins. Because a heart that believes again attracts a world that mirrors its hope. You exhale, and as your body prepares to sleep, one final whisper rises from within. If I could heal the child in me, what kind of life can I now create tonight? You're not just falling asleep. You're stepping into a canvas, a quiet space wide and open, waiting for your soul to paint the life it longs for. Not from pressure, not from fear, but from soft imagining, the kind that happens when the world is hushed, and your heart is finally free to speak. You are the dreamer now, and the night is your brush. Close your eyes, let your breath become slow, warm, fluid. Inhale, hold, exhale. The air around you begins to shift. You feel it, the room softening, the light dimming into silver. The veil between thought and reality growing thinner. You are safe here, held, cradled by possibility. And in this soft sacredness, you begin to see it. Not just in your mind, but with your energy. Your dream life. Not the one you were told to want. Not the one you settled for, but the one your soul hums when you're quiet enough to hear. You begin to paint it. Not with paint, but with presence. Picture a brush in your hand made of moonlight and memory. With each stroke, you fill in the details of the life that already lives inside you. What does it feel like to wake up in your dream reality? Start there. Feel your body stir in a bed that feels like peace. Hear the quiet rhythm of a morning that doesn't rush you. Smell the air fresh, warm, open. Feel the floor beneath your feet, steady and clean, leading you into a day designed from joy. Let the brush move, stroke by stroke, emotion by emotion. You begin to build it. Where do you live? Just a place, but the feeling of it. Perhaps a home that glows with sunlight, windows open, curtains swaying. A place where your soul exhales, or maybe it's simpler. Just a corner in the world where you're not pretending, where everything you own is a reflection of peace. Let the image rise. Now paint your morning. What do you do? Who do you become when no one is watching? Maybe you stretch slowly, or walk barefoot across grass, or sip something warm in a space filled with soft music. An intention, whatever it is, it brings ease, and that ease is alignment, because the law of attraction doesn't begin with doing. It begins with being in the frequency of what you want before it arrives. And right now, you are there. Feel the wholeness of that version of you. They don't wonder if it will happen. They wake up inside it. They move with certainty. They speak with grace. They are you. Just remember. Now paint the work you do. Not just the job, but the feeling it gives you. Do you create? Do you guide? Do you serve? Do you write or heal or build or teach? Whatever you do, it flows from your center, not your survival. It energizes you, not drains you. See yourself doing it now. With calm, with purpose, with joy. There's no rush here, no pressure, only clarity, only rhythm. Paint the relationships around you now. Who surrounds you in this dream life? Not just faces, but energies, people who see you clearly, people who hold you gently, people who speak your name with respect, and who laugh with their whole hearts. Feel their presence, their joy in your joy, their peace in your peace. There are no masks here, only mirrors. You are loved not for what you do, but for who you are. When you are unguarded, you are seen, you are met. Breathe that in. Let your brush move again. Paint your body. How does it feel to live inside yourself when you are no longer at war with it? Maybe you move with ease. Maybe your breath is deep and unburdened. Maybe you rest without guilt. Eat with reverence. Stretch with love. You do not punish your body anymore. You partner with it. And it thanks you with strength, with softness. But trust not, let your brush swirl now. Paint your days. What colors do you live in? What scents fill your space? What music moves through your world? Do you wake with sunlight? Sleep with stars? Dance in your kitchen? Do you write from the warmth? The quiet room, or walk along a path where trees bow as you pass? Whatever you see, let it rise. Because the subconscious mind speaks in images, and what you see with feeling, you plant like a seed in the fertile soil of your now. And your now is ripe for planting. You do not worry how it will all come. You do not ask for timelines. You know this truth. The universe responds to vibration, not desperation. So you vibrate peace, you vibrate readiness, you vibrate belief. And belief paints faster than effort ever could. See now, the future version of you, not far ahead, just around the bend. They live in this reality you're painting. They walk it, breathe it, own it. They are not better than you, just clearer. Just softer, just more trusting. What do they believe that you're now ready to believe too? Maybe I don't have to struggle to succeed. I am worthy of beauty and rest. I attract ease because I am ease. Create because it's who I am, not what I owe. Let those beliefs rise like sunrise inside you, each one warming the canvas, each one shaping your world. Now step into that painting. Step into the life you've imagined, not as an observer, but as the artist who belongs there. Open the door, breathe the air, touch the walls, speak to the people. Live in it now. Because in the law of attraction, it's not about what you want, it's about what you expect. And expectation is born in embodiment. Right now, you are embodying it, the energy, the ease, the expansion. And as you do, the universe begins rearranging, not to give you what you begged for, but to mirror what you've become. You smile now because this is not a fantasy. This is a memory of a future self calling you home, and you're listening. You leave a message on the wall of your dream home. I was here before it happened, and that's why it did, because visualizing isn't just seeing, it's feeling. It's creating a vibrational signature so strong that reality has no choice but to catch up. And it will. It already is. You walk to the edge of the canvas now. Look back at what you've painted. It's not perfect, but it's true. It's not rigid, but it's real. And most of all, it's yours. You exhale, step out, not because it's over, but because you brought it with you, inside you, round you, for you. As your body settles into sleep, one final thought drifts across your mind like a soft signature in silver ink. If I can dream this clearly, what else might I call into form? You're still floating, not through time, but through the soft corridors of your own becoming. The life you painted last night, it didn't vanish. It followed you. Because visualization, real visualization, isn't something you step into once and leave. It's something you carry, something you live from. And now, you're ready to live inside it even deeper. Tonight, you enter the dream room in your mind. The room where your desires become details, where vision becomes vibration, where your future becomes familiar. You arrive at the door, simple, warm, marked with nothing but a glow. You place your hand on it, and it opens for you, because you belong here. Always have. The room is not extravagant, but it is sacred. It smells like clarity, sounds like silence wrapped in peace, feels like a gentle memory of something you haven't lived yet, but already love. Inside, a single chair, a round window, and walls that shift with thought. You sit, and as you do, the room begins to respond, not to effort, but to energy. The more you feel, the more you see. This is not fantasy. This is alignment. You're becoming a vibrational match to the version of life you're ready to receive. You close your eyes, and from the quiet, first image begins to rise. It's not a snapshot. It's a scene. You living your dream life, not talking about it, not waiting for it, living it. Let it begin. See yourself waking up. The light in the room is soft. The sheets are cool. Your body is rested. Your mind is quiet. You stretch with the certainty of someone who is safe, loved, empowered. You don't check your phone first. You check in with your soul. You whisper, how does it feel to be me today? and your soul smiles. Because you feel free. You rise slowly. You walk through your space. It's not defined by square footage or design labels. It's defined by peace, the colors you chose, the art that mirrors your soul, the items that have meaning, not just price tags. It's a space that feeds you energetically, emotionally, spiritually. You walk into your kitchen. The light pours in, the coffee brews, or maybe it's tea or warm lemon water. Whatever it is, it tastes like contentment. You sit, you sip, you do not rush. Because in this life, time expands for you. You remember, this reality came from consistency, not from wishing, but from aligning. You breathe in, and the dream room shifts again. Now you see yourself working, creating, doing something that feels like joy. What is it? Do you teach, write, design, sing, coach, grow, heal? Whatever it is, you do it from a place of overflow. You do not prove your worth. You express your truth, and that expression is magnetizing everything you need. Clients, income, opportunities. You didn't chase them. You created a frequency they could find. This is what real manifestation looks like. Not sudden magic, but subtle preparation. You align your energy long before the results showed up. And now, they're here. Not because you forced, because you flowed. The dream room expands again. Now you see yourself in the evening, maybe walking through a quiet neighborhood, maybe dancing in your living room, maybe reading by candlelight, maybe kissing someone who meets you in your truth. Your truth. Whoever is beside you, friend, lover, partner, self, they are safe. They do not drain you. They reflect you because you stopped calling in love from emptiness. Now you call it in from embodiment. In your embodiment, it's steady, it's real, it's radiant. You whisper, thank you. This is how I always wanted it to feel. The room pulses with agreement. Because when your vibration meets your vision, the universe has no choice but to respond. You don't attract what you ask for. You attract what you're ready to hold. And you are ready. Ready to live as the version of you who doesn't need permission to dream. Ready to expect goodness. Not fear it, not wait for it to slip away, but welcome it as your natural state. Now you rise from the chair, and you walk to the walls. They're shimmering now, waiting for you to write. You pick up a golden marker that appears in your hand, and you begin to write words across the dream room. Walls, words you want to live by. Words that create resonance. Words that call in what matches your becoming. You write, I trust my desires are divine instructions. I attract what reflects my self-love. I do not chase, I allow. I am ready for more, and it is ready for me. As each word lands, the room glows brighter. You are not scripting your life from control. You are scripting from confidence, because your dream room is not a wish, it's a blueprint. And the blueprint doesn't lie. It simply waits for belief, for alignment, for yes. And tonight you are saying yes, not with noise, not with urgency. But with softness. Double quotes. Yes, I receive. Yes, I believe. Yes, I allow. The room begins to dissolve, not in sadness, but in sacredness, because you've taken it and it no longer needs to exist separately. You've become the vibration it showed you. You whisper as you leave, thank you for showing me what's already mine. I'll carry this frequency into my waking life, and reality will follow. You step back through the doorway. The walls fade. The window closes, but the energy stays. And now, as your body sinks deeper into sleep, you don't wonder if your dream life is coming. You wonder if this is how it feels to live in the dream room in my mind. How soon will it show up in the room where I wake, somewhere in the early stillness of this night? Something shifts, not outside, but within. A hush settles over your thoughts. The kind that doesn't demand an answer. The kind that waits, because you know now. You don't need to chase the dream. You've already become its echo, and echoes, gentle as they are, always return home. Tonight is not about asking, it's about allowing. Not because you gave up, but because you finally let go. You are no longer waiting for your dream life to arrive. You're letting it unfold. Softly, naturally, inevitably, you lie still, breath calm, heart open, and through that stillness you begin to notice reality is changing, not all at once, not like a storm, but like morning mist pulling back from a golden shore. Soft echoes of the life you visualize begin to ripple through your days. A conversation that felt like alignment, the idea that flowed with no resistance, the moment where time stretched and something just clicked. These are signs, subtle, whispered, but unmistakable. They say, it's happening. Keep holding the frequency. Keep trusting the rhythm. You close your eyes, inhale, hold, exhale, and as you drift into that in-between space, you begin to revisit all you've called in, not to grasp it, but to witness it. The home that feels like sanctuary, the work that feels like expression, the relationships that feel like truth. They're not far away. They are circling, coming closer, matching your energy, meeting your readiness, because reality doesn't change when you want it to. It changes when you vibrate in harmony with what you've asked for, and you are vibrating now, not loudly, outwardly, but deeply, the kind of vibration that doesn't wobble, that doesn't question, that doesn't ask how every hour, kind of vibration that says, I'm already living it, even if it hasn't touched my skin yet, because in the quantum world, your desire exists the moment you believe it does. You've walked into that belief, you've bathed in it, you've decorated your inner world with it, and now the outer world responds, not with lightning, but with echoes, a smile from a stranger, a message at just the right time, a coincidence that aligns perfectly with your dream Rome vision. You begin to smile in your sleep because you feel it, the turning, the tide, the soft unraveling of delay, the dissolving of the old story. You are no longer just dreaming your dream life, you are receiving it, and receiving is a quiet art. It requires stillness, receptivity, faith in the unseen. It's not grasping, it's opening. You whisper now, gently, I open, I allow, I align. The dream responds. You see flashes now, like previews from the life that's being prepared for you. You at a table laughing, you signing something meaningful, you hugging someone who feels like home. You waking up with clarity, you saying yes to something you once thought was out of reach, and none of it feels too big anymore, because your nervous system has acclimated to it. That's what this journey has done. Visualization isn't just mental rehearsal, it's nervous system permission. You practice feeling safe in success. You soften into worthiness. You stop resisting joy. And now, joy is responding. Opportunities are moving toward you because they finally recognize you. You become someone who holds abundance with ease, not someone who questions it, not someone who apologizes for it. You simply hold it, like water, like light, like truth. And as you lie here, one hand on your chest, one resting near your side, you feel the shift not as noise, but as resonance. Like tuning forks finding each other in a quiet room. Everything you've seen in your dream room, everything you painted in moonlight, everything you whispered to the walls of your becoming, it's all alive now. It just hasn't. Not yet, but you've left the door open, and that's what matters. You whisper, I am no longer waiting for proof. I am living as proof. And the universe echoes back. A quiet echo, a warm breeze, a soft hum that says, we hear you, we see you, keep dreaming in belief. Because belief isn't just a thought, it's a temperature, and your temperature has changed. You no longer match struggle, you no longer match doubt, you no longer match delay. You match flow, you match clarity, you match the moment you've been calling in for years. And now, it's walking toward you. Not in a straight line, not on your timeline, but on divine timing, guided by frequencies you set in motion long ago. The echo becomes louder. You hear your name, not spoken by a voice, but spoken by life itself. As if your own dream is calling you forward in the language only your heart understands, and you answer, not with urgency, not with need, but with stillness. Yes, I'm ready now. Not because I pushed, but because I became. You feel your chest rise and fall, a rhythm of receiving, a lullaby of readiness. You understand now, manifestation is not about controlling the outcome. It's about mastering the state. In your state. Tonight is peace. Peace that knows what's coming is already aligned. Peace that trusts the echo will find its way home. Peace that no longer tries to be worthy, but simply is. You smile again. Because this is not a story you're making up. It's a story you're remembering. You came here for this peace, this trust, this soft power. And as your body melts deeper into rest, one final whisper rises from your heart. If my reality is already echoing my dreams, what happens when I stop doubting and start dancing in the waiting? Tonight is not about what's missing, not about what you wish was different, not about fixing, chasing, changing, or striving. Tonight is about noticing what already is, what already supports you, what already surrounds you quietly, faithfully. fully, because gratitude is not a grand announcement, it's a gentle awareness, a soft turning of the heart toward the light. You are here now, safe, still, breathing, and that is enough to begin. Take a deep breath in, hold, and exhale everything that felt heavy today. Let it go. Let it fall. You are stepping into stillness. Now, and as your breath slows, you find yourself walking into a room made entirely of warmth. It's not large, but it holds you like an old song, one you forgot you remember. In the center of the room, a chair. Beside it, a wooden basket, and inside the basket, pieces of fabric. Soft, worn, colorful. These are your moments, tiny pieces of joy stitched in silence over the years. Tonight, you begin to sow. One breath, one square, one blessing at a time. You sit. You pick up the first fabric, a deep golden one. It smells like sunlight through the window. You press it to your chest, and you remember that one morning when you woke up without pain. That time your favorite song came on just as you needed it. That simple, quiet cup of tea where nothing was wrong. You stitched that moment into the quilt. No fanfare, just reverence. Because even small moments carry sacred energy. You reach into the basket again. Pull out a square the color of sky before sunrise. This one feels like laughter, like unexpected kindness, like the stranger who held the door, the text that made you smile. The night you fell asleep to the sound of rain, you hold it gently, because gratitude doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. It just needs to be felt, and you are feeling it now. Piece by piece, your quilt begins to grow. You stitch the taste of your favorite food, the hug you almost forgot, the day you were something that made you feel like yourself again. The look in someone's eyes that said, I see you, I see you. And as you sew, you feel your heart shift, not outwardly, but inwardly, a quiet lifting, a subtle warming, a remembering that you were never without gifts, only without focus. Because the law of attraction doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to how you feel now. And when you feel rich in gratitude, you become a magnet for more. Not because you're begging, but because you're aligned. You hold up the quilt now. It's growing heavy, not with burden, but with beauty. It is soft and alive in your hands. It holds your memories, your blessings, your whispers of thank you that the world never heard, but the universe always did. You close your eyes and suddenly you're not in the room anymore. You're outside, wrapped in the quilt, standing in a field of quiet stars. The night, sky smiling down on you like an old friend. The stars do not ask you to do more. They only ask you to feel this moment fully. You sit on the grass. You wrap the quilt around your shoulders, and the warmth you feel is not imagined. It's energy. Gratitude is energy. It has a frequency, a pulse, a vibration. And tonight, your entire being is tuned to it. You place your hands on your heart. You whisper, thank you for my breath. Thank you for this body. Thank you for the lessons I didn't know I needed. Thank you for the ones who stayed and the ones who didn't. You let the words fall like feathers. Not planned, not forced, just real. Thank you for that time I cried and someone listened. Thank you for the days I laughed so hard I forgot everything else. Thank you for the mornings I didn't give up. With every thank you, your body softens. Your nervous system unwinds. Your mind no longer races to the next thing because you're no longer seeking, you're seeing. And in that seeing, you find peace. You are not empty, you are full. Not in the way the world counts fullness, but in the way your soul recognizes it. You look down, the quilt is glowing now. Each square a tiny lantern, each stitch a heartbeat, each color a memory of survival, love, hope, healing. You whisper, I didn't know how much I already had until I stopped to hold it. And that is the secret. Gratitude changes what you see. By changing how you see, it doesn't erase pain, but it holds your hand through it. It doesn't ignore lack, but it reminds you of light. And light always finds a way in. You stand now, wrapped in your quilt, rooted in your thank yous, and you begin to walk, not to get anywhere, but to remember. As you walk, you pass a tree. Its leaves whisper. Remember the smile from that child in line behind you. You nod. Yes, thank you. You pass a stream. Its water sings. Remember the day you finally forgave yourself. You smile. Yes, thank you. You pass a stone. It glows slightly. Remember when you thought you were alone, but someone reached out. You close your eyes. Yes, thank you. This walk is not just memory. It is embodiment. You are living inside the energy of appreciation, and that energy is magnetic. You do not need to know what's coming next. You only need to love what's already here. The more you notice, the more there is to notice. That's the magic. That's the loop. That's the invitation. You reach a hill, climb slowly, softly, without resistance. At the top. Why? Quiet view, below you, your life, the moments, the people, the choices, the heartbreaks, the healing, the hands you held, the days you rose. You spread your quilt on the grass, lie down, face the sky, and you whisper, I see now. I was never forgotten. I was always being given to, even when I didn't know how to receive. The stars pulse in rhythm. Your breath flows easy. Your body melts into the earth. The quilt tucks itself around you as if to say, we remember everything you forgot to thank. And you smile because you feel it now. You are not poor in blessings. You are rich in awareness. And in the law of attraction. Awareness is abundance. You do not need more to feel more. You simply need to notice. And as your breath slows and your dreams begin to stir beneath your closed eyes, one last thought floats into your heart like a lullaby. If I am already this full, what miracles might I receive simply because I noticed? The night deepens, but your heart glows brighter. You are wrapped in warmth, not from blankets, but from something deeper. Recognition, remembrance, reverence, gratitude has taken root inside you. And now it begins to bloom in places you never thought it could. Because tonight, you're learning the most sacred form of gratitude, not the kind that says thank you when things are perfect, but the kind that whispers thank you even for this, even for the hard, even for the ache, even for the silence that taught you how to hear. You lie still. The stars hold you like ancient witnesses, and the earth beneath your body feels like trust. You take a slow breath in, hold, and exhale into surrender. Tonight, you go deeper. Not to escape the pain, but to transform your relationship with it. You enter a quiet space within your heart, one not filled with memory, but with meaning. You sit on the floor of your inner world. The room is dim, but not cold. And in front of you, a table. On it, moments, not the bright ones, but the ones that still ache. They are laid out like stones, heavy, raw, still carrying their stories. You approach them slowly. One is a breakup. Another, the moment someone said goodbye and never came back. Another, the day a dream died quietly while you kept pretending. You don't turn away, not this time. You sit with each one. You place your hand on them. Feel their weight. Feel the grief still stored there. And then you whisper the words that change everything. Thank you. Even for this, it feels strange at first to thank the things that hurt you. To bless the pain instead of resisting it. But slowly you begin to feel the shift. Not in the story, but in you. You don't thank the pain because it was fair. You thank it because it revealed your depth, your courage, your capacity to survive. You pick up the stone labeled loss. You whisper, thank you for teaching me presence, for reminding me to cherish things while they're here, for showing me that nothing lasts forever, and somehow I still do. The stone softens. Its edges become smoother, its weight less sharp. You place it gently in your lap. You reach for the next rejection, a moment that once burned your worth, a no that echoed through your self-esteem. You touch it. Thank you for not letting me stay where I didn't belong, for guiding me closer to places where I am seen, for teaching me that no is a sacred redirection. Another breath, another release. The stone loses its cold, and what's left is clarity. You move on. This time the stone is marked failure. You remember it vividly. The disappointment, the embarrassment, the inner dialogue of shame. But now you say, thank you. You brought me humility. You made me resilient. You showed me that my value is not tied to achievement. You taught me how to begin again. The room feels warmer now. You realize you've been trying to forget these moments, but what if they were never meant to be erased? What if they were meant to be integrated? Every moment you bless, you reclaim. Repain, you think, you release, not because you approve what happened, but because you no longer want to carry it in anger. And that is liberation. Gratitude doesn't deny grief. It holds its hand. Gratitude doesn't erase the past. It reshapes its meaning. You stand now. The stones have changed. They're not jagged anymore. They're polished. They look like river rocks, smoothed by time, by water, by touch. You gather them in your arms, not as burdens, but as gifts. Each one a lesson, a threshold, a silent turning point. You place them on a shelf in your heart, not to hide, but to honor, because this is what it means to grow, to look at your wounds and whisper, "Thank you, you made me softer, not harder." You close your eyes and you speak now to life itself. Thank you for the things that didn't go my way. Thank you for the doors that stayed closed. Thank you for the delays that protected me. Thank you for the pain that made me listen. You take a deep breath, the deepest yet, and when you exhale, it carries the sound of release. Your shoulders lighten, your chest opens. Gratitude has done its work, not by giving you more, but by showing you what you've always had. You begin to walk now, out of the room, into the field of your future, and you bring the stones with you, not as scars, but as stories, stories that say, "I've lived, I've lost, and I've loved through all of it." This is the frequency now. It hums in your aura, it sings in your breath, and it calls in a new reality. Because when you're grateful, even for the shadows, you attract light that doesn't blind. You attract healing, love, truth. You attract people who are drawn not to your perfection, but to your presence. You lie down now, on a bed of soft earth. The stars spin slowly overhead, and one by one, you name them, not the stars, but the blessings hidden in the pain. Thank you for teaching me to trust timing. Thank you for the moment I stood up for myself. Thank you for the apology I gave to my own heart. Thank you for every small yes that came after the big no. And one star, the brightest of all, carries this message. Gratitude is the gateway, not to what you want, but to who you become when you no longer resist what is. You hold that message in your chest. Let it melt into your breath. Let it hum beneath your ribs. You are not just healing, you are harmonizing. And gratitude is the thread that weaves it all together. You no longer fear the hard parts of your story. You've befriended them, you've heard them, you've said thank you even for this. And now you sleep. Not because you're tired, but because you're free. Because you're free. Free to rest, free to receive. Free to rewrite the energy of everything you once tried to bury. And as your breath deepens, one final thought glows through your soul. If I can find gratitude even here, what kind of life will meet me there? You are floating now, not through space, but through stillness. This stillness isn't empty, it's alive. It hums with something quiet but powerful, like the sound of light before sunrise, or the way hope feels before it has a name. Your body lies in soft surrender, wrapped in the energy of awareness, and your heart, your beautiful, open, receptive heart is glowing. This is the heart of gratitude, not as a practice, but as a presence. Tonight, you don't need to do anything. You only need to be, because when gratitude becomes who you are, the universe doesn't need instructions, it simply responds. This is not about wishing harder. It's about receiving deeper, because a heart that is thankful for what is becomes a magnet for what wants to be. You are that magnet now. You don't beg. You don't chase. You allow, and in that allowance, miracles begin to gather. Not because you demanded them, but because you created the space for them to land. You take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, a new vision begins to form in your mind. You are standing in a garden, but not just any garden. This one grows from your inner frequency. Each flower, each vine, each sparkling leaf blooms from a different moment of gratitude you felt. Times you said thank you when things were good, and more importantly, the times you said thank you when they weren't. Every moment you softened, every time you chose to see beauty has planted something here, and now it's blooming. The scent in the air is soft joy, the breeze is made of quiet reassurance, and the soil beneath your feet feels like trust. You kneel, run your fingers through the earth. You can feel them, tiny pulses, tiny frequencies of answered prayers already on their way. This is what it means to align, not to push, but to pulse, not to force, but to flow. You walk through the garden slowly, petals brushing your fingertips, birds singing in languages only your soul can understand. You are not creating the future from scratch. You are attracting it by who you are being now. And now you are being gratitude in its purest form, not performative, not transactional, but cellular, the kind that lives in your bones, in your breath. In the way you see even ordinary things as holy, you touch a flower shaped like a heart. It glows softly in your hand. This is the heart that magnetizes miracles, not by proving itself, but by resting in its own frequency. You whisper, thank you for what's coming even before it arrives, and the air around you answers. What you think in advance begins its journey toward you. You pause, let that truth echo. Gratitude is not just reflection, it is invitation. It says to the universe, I already trust you. I'm ready to receive what I've aligned with. And the universe always listens to that frequency. You step into a clearing dot in the center, a fountain dot. It's not made of water, but of light. Each drop that rises and falls carries the energy of something already on its way to you. A connection, an opportunity, a healing, a realization. A surprise so beautiful it makes your eyes close in stillness. You watch the light fall and rise dot, and with each motion, your own heart begins to mimic it. You inhale, you exhale, and gratitude pours through you like liquid gold dot. It coats your thoughts. It softens your memories. It expands your capacity to hold joy. And suddenly, you realize you don't want things the way you used to. You don't want them just to fix things. You want them to experience them dot, to savor, to share, to explore, because you've stopped manifesting from lack and you've started magnetizing from love. And that shift changes everything dot. You sit by the fountain now, light brushing your face. You close your eyes and begin to whisper, thank you for the peace I feel now. Thank you for the love that's finding me. Thank you for the money that flows with ease. Thank you for the ideas that light me up. Thank you for the rest I am receiving. Each thank you is a signal, each signal a mirror, each mirror a magnet dot, and all around you the garden glows and responds. Because when you are in a state of deep appreciation, you become unshakable. You stop waiting for external proof, you become the proof. And when you are the proof, the world adjusts, not all at once, but in ways too precise to ignore. A message that arrives just in time. A door that opens when you stop knocking. A person who says, what do I? But I felt like reaching out. This is the miracle of gratitude dot. It rearranges life without needing to rearrange you. Because you are already enough. You lie down now, the earth beneath you pulsing with warmth. The stars above you shimmering like silent confirmations. And in the stillness, you feel something new. You are no longer becoming. You are being. Being love. Being light. Being the frequency that brings miracles home. You whisper one last thank you. Thank you not because I'm trying to get more, but because I finally feel what I already am. And that is the vibration of having, of knowing, of resting. You drift deeper into sleep now. Your body is soft. Your breath is steady. Your heart is full. And in the background of your dreams, life begins to gather more magic on your behalf, because now you no longer wait for reasons to be grateful. You let your gratitude be the reason everything shifts. As your soul melts into the soft edges of the night, one final echo rises from the garden of your being. If this is how deeply I can feel now, what beauty is already on its way to meet me? You lie down now, wrapped in the softness of this moment that no need to strive, no need to do, just be. You are safe, you are held, you are worthy of rest, of ease, of more than enough dot. Close your eyes gently, and let the breath become slower, rounder, after the day releases you. The noise fades, the old stories lose their grip, and here, in the quiet, you begin to remember who you really are, not what the world told you, not what money taught you in its absence, but what you were always meant to know, that abundance is your natural state, that receiving is your birthright, that money is not the enemy, that it never was. Only the story was, and tonight you are ready to unlearn that story. Let it fall away now, like old leaves from a tree that's ready to bloom. Breathe in, breathe out, and step softly into the beginning. You find yourself standing in a hallway of memories. It's dim, but not cold. It's quiet, but not lonely. Dot along the walls, old messages, old lessons, old scripts handed to you before you were old enough to question them. You walk past them gently. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for every penny. There's never enough. We can't afford that. Rich people are selfish. Each phrase floats by like smoke. Not because it's still true, but because you're finally seeing it for what it is, a belief, not a truth. You pause dot, place your hand on your heart, and you whisper, just because I was taught something doesn't mean I have to keep it. You take a breath, a deep one that goes all the way into your belly. You exhale slowly, and as you do, those old phrases begin to dissolve, not violently, but softly. Like clouds giving way to blue sky, you walk further down the hallway. Dot at the end, there's a door. You open it, step inside, and find yourself in a gentle meadow. Everything is blooming. Everything is bright. And before you, a small child. Dot, it's you. The younger version of you, before the lessons, before the fear, before the worthiness became tangled with numbers. They look up at you, wide-eyed, curious, open. You kneel, smile, and say, money is not a monster. Money is not a wound. Money is not punishment or proof. Money is energy, and their eyes widen because they remember. You take their hand. Together, you walk through the meadow. You point out the petals of opportunity, the winds of flow, the bees of receiving and giving and returning again. Look, you say, this is how the universe works. Everything gives, everything receives. There is no hoarding in nature, only circulation. The child nods. They begin to run, laughing, spinning, throwing imaginary coins into the air like golden leaves. You laugh with them because you are remembering too. Scarcity was never yours. It was taught, and now you are unlearning, not by fighting it, but by replacing it. Replacing it with safety, with joy, with ease. You find a tree, sit beneath it. The child curls up beside you, and you begin to speak to your subconscious, not to blame it, but to reverend it. You whisper, I no longer equate hard work with worth. I no longer believe I must suffer to earn. I no longer fear having more than I need. I no longer worship struggle. Instead, you replace, I believe in joyful creation. I believe in receiving with grace. I believe money supports love, healing, freedom. I believe wealth is safe in my hands. Each belief enters your body like warm tea on a cold evening. It spreads, it softens, it rewires. Because healing scarcity is not about learning more, it's about remembering what's already true. You are enough. You've always been enough. Money does not prove that. It reflects it. And the more you rest in your worth, the more money feels safe to come closer. You rise now. The child fades, not because they are gone, but because they are now inside you, whole, loved, seen. You return to the hallway. The walls are blank now, waiting for new stories. You smile and begin to write them. Money supports my dreams. I am a safe space for abundance. It is okay to receive more than I expected. My wealth helps the world. The world. You walk slowly, each step planting new roots of belief. And somewhere in your body, a door opens. It's subtle, but you feel it. A release, a yes, a quiet ending to a story that was never yours. You lie down once more. The bed beneath you is light. It feels like clouds woven with gold thread, and you whisper, as you drift toward sleep, I don't chase money anymore. I attract it by being who I really am. Because the truth is, you are not here to earn your worth. You are here to express it, to share it, to embody it. And money, it's just one of many forms that love can take. So as your breath slows and the night deepens around you, know this, you are safe, you are held. You are enough. And everything you once feared about money is now softening. Because you are unlearning scarcity, and in its place, a new story is beginning to write itself. One breath, one belief, one dream at a time. You are not just resting. Now you are opening like a morning bloom that no longer hides from the light. Like palms turned skyward, finally ready to receive. Let the night hold you. Let your breath deepen. Let yourself soften into a frequency you once thought you to earn. Receiving. Because tonight you remember something sacred. To receive is not to take. To receive is to trust. To receive is to allow love in. You've spent so much of life proving, earning, overgiving, shrinking, spinning in the old dance of do I deserve this? But now, you pause. Now, you listen. Now, you let it in. Breathe. In through the nose, deep and slow. Hold. And exhale gently. And as the breath flows, so does something else. Your readiness. To be seen, to be supported, to be a vessel for the goodness you used to doubt. Not because you are perfect, but because you are present. Receiving doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for permission, and tonight you grant it. In your mind, you walk into a warm, glowing space. It feels familiar, like a place you've dreamed of, but never fully entered. This is your receiving temple. The walls are lined with soft gold. The air smells of possibility. And in the center, a table. Upon it, gifts, but not gifts you bought, not gifts you earned. Gifts life has been waiting to give you, but you hadn't yet opened the door. Until now. You step forward. There's no rush, no audience, only quiet, and you. You place your hands over your heart. It beats steadily, as if saying, I'm ready now. I trust. You pick up the first gift. It's wrapped in velvet stillness. You open it slowly. Inside, unexpected help. The email that arrives just in time. the offer you didn't plan for, the synchronicity you almost dismissed as coincidence. You smile because now you recognize the divine timing, not a fluke, not a mistake, just love finally finding its way, and you open the second gift. Inside, overflow, not barely enough, not survival, but more than you thought you could hold, more than your old self would have felt safe accepting. But this version of you, they whisper, I allow overflow. I no longer apologize for ease. And the air around you vibrates with confirmation. You sit now in the center of the temple. Your palms open, your shoulders drop, your eyes soften, and the affirmation rises through you. It is safe to receive. It is safe to have more. It is safe to let good things stay. Let those words linger. Let them melt into your breath, because this is what trust feels like. Not tight, not hard, but soft, receptive, expansive. Trust is not believing that bad things won't happen. Trust is knowing you'll still be guided when they do. Trust is not waiting for proof. Trust is the proof. And when you embody trust, you become magnetic to money, to kindness, to doors that were locked before you soften your heart. You are not begging anymore. You are aligning. You are not hustling harder. You are holding the frequency. You lie back on a velvet bed inside the temple. The ceiling is wide open, not to the sky, but to the field of possibilities. A gentle wind begins to flow. It brushes your skin. It sounds like soft bells, and with it come blessings. One by one, they enter your space. A check you didn't expect. A person who offers without strings. An idea that lights a path you hadn't seen before. You smile because now you receive not with guilt, but with gratitude, not with resistance, but with reverence. I am a sacred space for abundance, you whisper. I receive because I trust the love behind it. You turn over, eyes closed now. The wind slows, the temple glows, and your energy shifts even deeper. You begin to remember the times you blocked it. The moments you said I'm fine when you really needed help. The times you downplayed your dreams because you didn't want to ask for too much. You see it all and you forgive it all. I was doing what I knew, you whisper, but now I know something softer. With that softness, a new vow emerges. I will no longer dim my light to make others comfortable. I will no longer reject gifts because I feel unworthy. I will no longer sabotage overflow because I've mistaken chaos for normal. You are healing, not by fixing, but by opening, not by proving, but by inviting. You breathe in, receiving the air as if it were made of gold, because tonight it is. The currency is love. The transaction is trust, and your body becomes the bank where worthiness is deposited in every cell. You rest now, not because you're tired, but because you've surrendered the burden of needing to earn love through effort. You are not in debt to the universe. You are part of its design, and every time you receive with peace, you honor that design. Let your body loosen, let your mind melt. Let the temple dissolve. Because the truth is, the temple was never outside you. It's you. You are the sanctuary. You are the receiver. You are the permission slip for abundance to flow without resistance. And now, as you drift deeper and deeper into sleep, one final message flows through your inner sky. If receiving is trust, then every blessing I allow is proof that I've remembered who I really am. You are floating, not through space, but through warmth. The kind of warmth that smiles without effort, that bubbles like sunlight in a child's laugh, that glows from the inside out. Tonight, you begin to understand joy is currency. Not just a feeling, not just a reward, but an energetic signature that attracts everything your heart has ever whispered for. Money doesn't follow logic. It follows frequency. And joy is the golden frequency. The more joy you embody, the more abundance feels like a natural extension of your being. No longer something you chase, but something you match. And tonight, in this gentle rhythm of rest, you begin to let joy lead. Let your breath be the first gift. Inhale deeply, hold, exhale slowly, and feel how even that is a form of wealth. You're in a field now, not just any field. This one responds to your mood. Each emotion blooms beneath your steps. Sadness sprouts soft gray petals. Gratitude becomes amber vines. But joy turns everything gold. You walk barefoot, and the grass under you shimmers. You giggle, not because something funny happened, but because something real just did. You remember that your joy isn't selfish. It's sacred. You pick up a small coin that glows in the field. On it Engraved, I am allowed to enjoy my life. You hold it to your heart dot and suddenly the field fills with music dot, soft bells, dancing winds, the hum of unseen blessings gathering at the edge of manifestation. Because you're not resisting anymore, you're rejoicing dot, and that changes everything. You sit on a stone made of light. Round you, the air sparkles. Each shimmer a moment of joy you've ever felt, laughing alone at midnight and singing in your kitchen. Holding someone's hand without words, finding $1 when you needed it, moss breathing. In fresh air after a long cry, joy doesn't wait for perfection. Joy appears when you say, even now, there is something beautiful. You reach into your pocket and pull out your energy wallet dot. It's not leather. It's made of light and intention dot. Inside, memories of joy. And each one is a form of abundance. You flip through them. One is a moment you let go of control. Another is the day you forgave yourself. Another is just the smell of rain and the feeling of enoughness dot. And now, you see clearly. Money is drawn to joy because joy proves you can hold more without fear. You lie back in the grass now dot, eyes closed, palms open, heart humming, and the mantra flows through you. Joy is not a luxury. Joy is a signal, a frequency, a magnet. You remember times you felt guilty for joy, for smiling when others were sad, for dreaming too loudly, for being too grateful when nothing was perfect. But now you release that guilt. Joy is not disrespect. Joy is remembrance. Remembrance of what's real. You whisper, I am not meant to suffer to prove my goodness. I am not meant to struggle to earn my value. I am not meant to dim my happiness to fit in. And the field agrees dot, it glows brighter dot, and so does your energy. Because here's the secret. Money flows to where it's welcomed, and joy is the most welcoming door. You sit up now dot, and before you, a golden mirror. You see yourself, not as the world sees you, but as your soul does, radiant, relaxed, receptive. You smile, and the mirror reflects more light dot, in your reflection's hands, a bouquet of joy. And from that bouquet, golden coins fall gently to the ground, not because you asked, not because you performed, but because you became the energy that abundance recognizes. You whisper, my joy is valuable, my joy is enough, my joy is safe to expand. The coins multiply, not chaotically, but rhythmically, like a song the universe already knew how to play. You look up, the sky above is deep, indigo, and through it float words made of stars. When you stop waiting for permission to feel joy, life stops waiting to reward you. You exhale. It feels like a homecoming, because this was never about chasing money. It was always about returning to joy dot, and letting joy invite the rest. You lie back again. The earth beneath you is soft. It pulses like a lullaby. And you think now of how you'll carry this forward. You won't ask money to fill a hole. You'll ask it to expand the light that's already here. You won't use joy to impress. You'll use it to align dot. You won't fear losing it. You'll let it flow like breath, knowing more is always available. Because joy is not scarce dot, it's self-regenerating. And you are its garden tonight. As you drift towards sleep, you do so in full receiving mode. With every breath, you declare, I am wealthy in joy. I spend joy freely, and I trust that what I give returns tenfold. And in the quietest part of the night, a whisper curls around your body like a ribbon of golden light. Money is not my source. Joy is, and joy never runs out. Sleep now, wrapped in warmth, cradled in enoughness. Floating in the soft river of your new truth, you magnetize abundance by making joy your home. You lie still now, wrapped in moonlight, wrapped in breath, wrapped in the quiet courage of letting go. No more gripping, no more reaching, no more trying to force something to stay that was always meant to move. Tonight is not about forgetting, it's about floating, letting something go, not like a stone dropped in grief, but like a feather drifting softly on the breeze of love. You don't throw it away. You offer it up. You say, if it was mine, it would land in my hands. If it drifts, it was never caged to begin with. This is the sleep of surrender, kind that soothes the ache of what if with the peace of what now. So breathe in through the nose, gently, hold, out through the mouth, softly, and let the feather fall. You find yourself in a quiet clearing. The air is sweet with stillness above you. The stars blink slowly as if nodding in approval dot in your hand. A white feather, it glows softly, not with fire, but with memory dot. It represents all you've carried. A relationship you tried to hold together, a dream you clung to long past its shape. version of you that fought and held and waited and begged. You feel it now, all of it, not with heaviness, but with honor, because everything you've held this long deserved a goodbye with grace. You step to the center of the clearing. Wind stirs around you, but gently like a mother brushing hair behind your ear. You raise your hand, you close your eyes, and you whisper, "Thank you, even if I don't understand." I release you with love. You open your palm. The feather lifts, not in a rush, but in a spiral. It dances upward, then drifts back, not forward, but backward. And this makes you pause, because you realize letting go isn't always a straight line. Sometimes what you release circles. Sometimes what you feared losing returns in a new form, softer, cleaner, true. But only when you stop trying to catch it. You watch the feather spin, drifting past your shoulder, moving into the trees. You don't chase, you smile, because you become the kind of soul that trusts the wind. You sit down now. The ground beneath you is warm, like it remembers every time you fell here. You run your fingers through the earth. You whisper, "I don't need to make it make sense tonight. Just need to let it move," because letting go is not the opposite of love. It is love. It says, "I honor what we had. I bless what we shared. But I release you from being the thing that defines me." You think of all the times you held on, not because it was working, but because you didn't know who you'd be without it. And now, in this softness, you understand you are still whole, even without that job, even without their approval, even without the ending you prayed for. You are still enough, still safe, still guided. You lie back now, looking at the stars, and for a moment, you imagine them as all the versions of your life you once clung to. You say goodbye to each one, goodbye to the version of me who begged for love, goodbye to the timeline where I had to earn everything through pain, goodbye to the old story that said I was only valuable if I held on tightly. And with each goodbye, a star twinkles softly and fades, not into nothingness, but into freedom. Because letting go doesn't erase, it elevates. It says, "I don't need to hold you to carry your meaning." And the universe whispers back, "Exactly." You turn your head. Next to you, a stream, clear, slow, and shimmering in silver light. You walk toward it, and as you do, you feel it, the ache of the last thing you haven't released yet. It's subtle, but you know it's there. That tiny grip in your chest, that hope disguised as pain, that thread of maybe that keeps pulling at your peace. You kneel by the stream, cup your hands, and whisper, "I'm afraid to let you go, because I still don't know who I am without you." And the stream responds not in words, but in stillness. It shows you your own reflection, not sad, not broken, but clear. And in that moment, you remember something beautiful. You are not defined by what you hold. You are defined by your capacity to feel, to release, to rise. You place your palms in the water. It's cool, alive. And with it, you give that last ache permission to leave. I trust that what's mine cannot miss me. What misses me was never meant to stay. A feather drifts past on the stream. You smile again, because you know letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing the memory from the prison of need. You walk back to the center of the clearing. Lie down and let the earth hold you. You are weightless, not because you've lost, but because you've released. The feather falls backward, and maybe someday it will float to your feet again. But by then, you won't be waiting. You'll be flying. Breathe in, breathe out, and let this last whisper carry you into sleep. I am not afraid of what leaves. I am anchored in what stays, and what stays is always love. Tonight, your hands are empty, not in loss, but in peace. Not because nothing remains, but because everything has been offered, and nothing needs to be clutched anymore. Your palms rest beside you, open, fingers relaxed, arms released, heart unwound, and in this stillness, a sacred truth floats into your mind. Only empty hands can receive. You were taught to fill them with goals, with expectations, with people who couldn't stay, with stories that said you were more valuable when busy. But tonight, you open them, and what rushes in is not noise, but grace. Because letting go isn't a loss. It's a return to simplicity, to ease, to you. Breathe slowly, sink into the bedding like it's warm earth, and let us begin. You find yourself walking through a wide, quiet hall. The air is gentle, it hums with the frequency of surrender. In your arms, nothing. You're not carrying the past. You're not gripping the future. You're simply walking. You pass others on the path, Some are weighed down, pockets stuffed with what-ifs, should-haves, mustache dots. They smile. But strain, their steps are heavy. You nod to them in kindness and keep walking because your hands are free. At the end of the hall is a great arched doorway. You pause before it, etched in gold above it, the place where miracles enter. You smile because now you understand. This is not where you ask, it's where you allow, and only open hands can enter. Inside, the room glows like candlelight made of breath. It has no furniture, no noise, no plan. Just space. It's in this space that the universe does its best work. You sit in the middle, palms up, not begging, not proving. Just ready. And something begins to move, a wind, a whisper, an energy. It brushes your skin like the wings of something sacred. And it asks one question, not with words, but with presence. Are you willing to receive what's next? You answer, not with speech, but with surrender. You close your eyes, and inside them you feel all the things you thought you needed to chase begin to circle back. Not because you ran after them, but because you made room. You whisper, I let go of the timeline. I let go of the outcome. I let go of who I thought I had to be. I trust that what's for me knows how to find me. And in this surrender, you feel it. The power of empty hands, not desperate, not hollow, but divine. A space where love can enter, where money can land, where creativity can bloom, where clarity can rise like morning fog lifting. You're not falling behind, you're falling open. Let that settle. Let it soothe the parts of you that believed you had to hustle to be worthy, that believed letting go was weak, that believed if you didn't grip tight enough, everything would slip. But tonight, everything softens. You realize the hands you once used to grasp are the same hands you now use to receive. You hold them over your heart. You say, I am not empty, I am available. And the energy of that statement echoes through your entire body because emptiness, when met with love, becomes readiness, and you are ready. Ready for the answers you don't have to chase, ready for the peace that doesn't require explanation, ready for the miracles that only visit when the door is unlocked. You lie back, and in your inner vision you see your hands resting on a field of stars. They pulse with golden light, each pulse a quiet affirmation. This too will come, and I will greet it softly. You remember times you tried to fill the silence with planning, with fixing, with calling, texting, explaining. Because empty hands once felt scary, but now they feel sacred. Because they mean you've let life speak first. You are no longer trying to outrun divine timing. You are walking beside it. Beside it. Now, in this stillness, a memory rises, one you haven't visited in a while. A moment you let something go and thought it broke you, but now, from this space, you see what it made room for. That love, that lesson, that strength. It didn't rush in right away, but it came in the silence, in the space, in the empty place that you once feared. It made something new. So now you say, with gratitude, thank you for the space between. Thank you for the pause. Thank you for the gift of waiting with open hands. Because waiting with peace is the highest form of trust, and the universe always honors trust. You sit up now inside the glowing room, and you begin to see them, feathers falling slowly, landing in your open palms, each feather a sign of what's returning, but only because you let it go. An idea you buried, a friendship you thought was over, a vision that once felt too big. They float gently back, changed, healed, ready, because you made space. And now, you welcome them with joy. Not clinging, just receiving. Because your hands are no longer afraid to be empty, they are eager to be true. You breathe again, letting the softness fill your chest, and you speak one final affirmation aloud. Everything that belongs to me rise without force, because I am ready, and my readiness is enough. And as those words linger, you lie down. The room fades, and the quiet of the stars becomes your lullaby. You are held, not by what you carry, but by what you made space for. And that is the truest wealth. There is a hush tonight, not of silence, but of completion. A quiet that comes not from emptiness, but from trust. You are not waiting anymore. You are not wondering, watching, or chasing. You are simply being. And in this being, you discover something beautiful. What is truly yours never rushes. It returns softly, gently, faithfully. Like the tide to the shore, like breath after exhale, like sunlight through a half-closed curtain. You lie still, wrapped in this understanding. And now, your heart opens to receive, without gripping. To welcome, without begging. To recognize. Without reaching, breathe into that dot, let it settle like dew on your chest. Let it rock you. Let it remind you letting go was never about losing. It was always about allowing return, but only in its time, only in its true form. You're in a meadow now. Soft light spills across the grass and the air smells like memory. You walk barefoot, slowly, lightly, like you're not in a hurry anymore. Because you're not dot in your chest, no ache. In your hands, no grasp, dot, only peace and presence. And that is what makes the magic return. You sit beneath a willow tree, its branches sway with breath, and you notice something at your feet, a feather, the same feather from before, only now. It lands without ceremony, without storm, dot, it didn't crash back into your life. It floated backward, on its own rhythm, and you were still enough to catch it. You smile, not because you needed it, but because it found you when you didn't, because it wanted to come back, because it was free to return, dot, and so were you. You remember now, the person you once thought you lost forever sends a note that feels like home. The dream you gave up on begins to stir again, this time with clarity. The love you offered to the world begins to echo back in strange, lovely ways, not because you chased them, but because you stopped, you let them go, and the space you created, it became an invitation. Life responds to space, to softness, to trust, and you are made of all three now. You lie down in the grass, hands by your sides, and whisper, I don't need to know how it comes. I just know what's mine will come gently, and that gentleness becomes your new way of receiving. You remember how hard it used to be. You waited by the phone. You refreshed your inbox. You asked the universe when, and now you don't need to ask that because you already feel the yes, not in their reply, not in a sign, but in your body. Your calm is the confirmation. You're not empty. You're ready. And so it returns, dot, all of it, dot, not in a wave, but in whispers. An old song plays at just the right moment. A new friend finishes your sentence. A stranger says the exact words your soul needed. You smile more, you cry less, and when you do cry, it feels like a warm rain, not a storm, but a cleansing, because grief, too, has softened. You're not afraid of it anymore. You know now, grief leaves the door open for joy to return. You get up, walk to the edge of the meadow, dot, there, a gate, not locked, not hidden, just waiting. You touch it, and a breeze brushes your skin, dot, and that breeze, voices, familiar ones, dreams you set down, loves you outgrew, wishes that once burned hot and then turned to ash, dot, but now they sound different, not needy, not loud, dot, just present, dot, like guests at your door who brought their own light. You open the gate, and what enters is everything you once thought you had to earn. Peace, support, love, direction, joy, all of them walking back, bowing gently as if to say, thank you for trusting our return. You walk among them now, but you don't hold them too tight. You know the truth. Love that's gripped turns to fear. Love that's released returns as freedom, as beauty, as truth, dot, so you welcome everything. Lightly, dot, you touch without tethering. You receive without owning, and that makes you magnetic because you are no longer a seeker. You are a lighthouse, dot, and what is meant for your shore always finds it, dot, always. You sit now at the edge of a small pond, its surface still, your reflection, clear, dot, and in your own eyes you see the softness of surrender, dot, the strength of peace, the glow of someone who trusts the tides, and you say, let it come, let it stay, let it go, let it return, all in love, all in timing, all in trust, and your reflection nods because you've learned something not from books, but from the soul. Attachment clutches, devotion opens, clarity waits, and love always circles back. You lie back again in the meadow, stars just beginning to bloom above you. When star falls, you don't wish, you don't reach, you simply breathe, because now, you know, your wish is already on its way, and it will arrive, not like lightning, but like light, dot, soft, certain, yours, and as your breath deepens into sleep, the universe whispers, the moment you release the story, I began to write something new, and it ends not with grasping, but with grace. Let yourself rest now, dot, let yourself feel the softness in your palms. Let yourself believe in the quiet return. Let yourself be the place where everything beautiful finds its way back, not because you held on, but because you let it go. Go.